We can't forget about what I always want to start singing it after, guys, but I'm also in a little more mellow mood, a more I don't know what you call it, but a more I've been sort of putting a bunch of these pictures and these policy letters and all this photos and shit today, and I'm in this like weird mood. So I made sure that I sort of have everything written down and hopefully sort of ready. I have water. No, I'm not drinking a beer or anything else. I have to start working on, I am not even have to, I am working on addressing my trauma, my childhood, talking about it out loud, being on live streams without alcohol. Because for me, what happens is I come on and I'm, you know, even now I'm feeling it. Actually, I'm feeling sort of nervous, and not even nervous. It's weird childhood anxiety, and having a little drink here and there when I'm talking about it, or going out to protest every once in a while. I'm like, ooh, this is going to be heavy. You know, I might have a drink. And to me, it just feels, first of all, it's hurting my body. You know, alcohol is just not good for the body. There's nothing good about alcohol. But what I'm using it for is the thing that I need to be addressing, if that makes sense. Every time that I go, there's times where I'll go, I can literally feel it. It's just so crazy. And it's because I know what I'm going to be talking about in a little bit here. But what I wanted to address is when I go to try to talk about trauma or childhood, even, you know, just on my last stream with Nora not too long ago, I don't feel good. I feel good in the moment, or I feel like, ooh, I'm glad I don't have to feel as much as what I need to be feeling in the moment, so that I'm able to even talk about it or address it. But it doesn't work out the way that I plan, or the way that I am ready to, you know, release my feelings and let it out when I'm drinking. And it's specifically alcohol too. Like my marijuana currently is my other little number. It's not even a number. It actually, marijuana just makes me like, reminds me to breathe, literally, like, you know. So the thing I'm addressing though is that when I am talking about hard to talk about things, and I think that I'm in the space or in the mindset to be able to talk about it, it doesn't work. It doesn't come out. It doesn't act upon. It doesn't reciprocate, whatever. It doesn't flow the way that I am feeling or intending to feel, because it is being sort of, you know, cut off. It's sort of being cut off. It's completely being cut off. But the mind, the trick with drinking alcohol is that, for me, it tells me, oh, you're doing fine, and okay, cool, I'm just relaxed, and I'm addressing the issue, and ooh, this could be hard. And even when I'm drinking, it is hard, but it does something with the numbing where I'm not fully addressing and feeling the issue, because it's obviously very hard, or because of this, what we're talking about today, childhood abuses, the Sea Org, and the trauma from the ranch. And it's easy to just be like, oh yeah, you know, it's trauma and this, but really, when it comes down to it, every time I address it and I break it apart and I tell the details of all, you know, the childhood of being in Scientology, it actually, it makes me not forget, and makes me not sort of have to rely on something. It's so weird. Wow, I'm already going here, guys. But like, auditing and the repetitiveness of the scheduling and everything that we had as children on a daily basis, there were certain things that would sort of numb our feelings and the way that we were able to perceive, right, what was going on. And in auditing, they do this thing. I'm totally going to be chopped up everywhere, guys. So this is why I was like, hopefully you guys can keep me on track here. The goal is to talk about the Int Ranch and the abuses and all the constant stuff. But I just wanted to be clear about this because this is something I had a really deep moment about adjusting for myself. And I feel really good about this alcohol thing. And it's not like I need to quit drinking alcohol. It's when I'm addressing my trauma and my childhood and the things that I need to address, I cannot do that when I'm drinking. So that's where I'm getting to on that. But what it reminds me of is a little bit like when you're in a gross auditing session or interrogation or sec check. There was always something that, like, I know this is fucked up, but there was always something, even if I didn't want to do it, there was always something that I was like looking forward to, like, oh, okay, well, at least if I get it off my chest, or if at least if I say this to the, you know, auditor or the sec checker, then maybe the session will end and then I can start addressing how to fix it. Like, I wasn't able to like actually see what I was doing wrong. And it was because I was so like blinded by this, by other options. And I might not be able to express my words as much as I'm trying to right now, as well as I want to, but I'm trying. And so, yeah, this is where I start. And it really is hard. It's hard to really break down everything and feel everything and know that my current behaviors or bad habits that I used to have that I could easily fall back into are just going to repeat themselves. And I want to be so much better. I want to be so much like thicker and better at that, with just being myself and really expressing myself and saying what I'm really trying to say by feeling it. And I think that's just hard. And I've always, you know, I am strong, but this shit is fucking hard when you have to address it spot on. It just feels like I'll just be crying the whole time, or that I end up blaming somebody else, you know. And it's just crazy. So I have to address my childhood trauma and my motherhood and my fatherhood connection, because we can only heal inside. And I want to try to do that, at least with everybody here. I want to try to do that when I'm doing live streaming and really talking about the traumas and stuff like that. I want to really work on doing it without alcohol, because alcohol is a tricky one. You know, alcohol can be great at a show or whatever the fuck, and sometimes not, because most of my shows, again, are also very triggering. I don't even want to use triggering. They're just very passionate, and they're very, like, they come from a place where I was stuck. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to breathe. And I also have a smoothie here. I was like, okay, if I'm not going to have a beer or a drink here, then give me some water and smoothies. So yeah, if I'm going to address this ugly version, these things that I don't like about myself, these things that aren't fun, because I don't like them. I don't like not being able to say and feel what I mean when I'm literally trying to express myself. And there's just times to be able to do that. And then there's times to not have to deal with it and go have fun and whatever. So it's like as simple as that for me. If I'm addressing my trauma and dealing with my trauma, I'm not going to be drinking, because I have to, for myself, be able to feel these things, to be able to get through it, to be able to not be so upset about it. Okay. And also, so in the midst of all this, it is hard, guys. Like, it's hard. I'm getting to my FBI report, writing the report on Moxon. There's just so much. I'm literally, when I look, I have a board here that the left side has me tracked for the live stream, being like, these are the subjects you're talking about. And then the other side has all of my in the midst and where I'm at. So I'm in the middle of it all, and it all is very triggering. A lot of it also makes me like want to give up. I know that's horrible to say, because this community is like so helpful and like, but it just feels like I'll be spending the rest of my life like fighting this, and I'm okay with that. I think I just need to find ways to make it easier that aren't hard on my body and that aren't like, you know, poisoning my mind, while I'm trying to heal from them, heal from this trauma and everything. Anyway, sidetracked. So where was I? What was I talking about? So yeah, I'm focusing on that. And part of that is bringing up all this stuff. When I'm writing these reports, all of that is about, it all is about our childhood trauma. So this one for me is a hard one. The child abuse and everything. It's a hard one, because it makes me feel everything. And I have to, so that I can see a new perspective as being I always say 40 because I'm like, oh, I'm 39, I'm almost 40. But being like 40 years old, to me as a child, that felt comforting for somebody as an adult, especially because we had like 18-year-olds like Renee Berther spanking us and like really abusing us and like rough out. I'll get into all that, but and she wasn't the only one, but it just felt safer for some reason that when I hit 40, I would have had it all together, right? We would all have it together by 40. And I don't have it all together. And I just want to have myself together. I don't have that. Everything doesn't need to be like perfect, but I just want to have myself together and strong. And I'm only going to be able to do that by actually dealing with the trauma and talking about everything. And talking about how even, we'll get into it soon here, but also bringing up old references and policy letters where years before I was even born, things were getting into, you know, were being okayed. And a bunch of these policy letters and things like this, policy letters, by the way, for people who don't know, are just basically written laws, basically by L. Ron Hubbard, that the organization had to abide by. And they were like, yeah, and some are not all from L. Ron Hubbard. Some are flag orders and FOs, and we'll get into all that. But I'm sure most of you have gotten the gist. If you're a new person watching, please subscribe to Laura FM here on the channel. But you can put me on double speed if you need to. From my old videos, I talk about a bunch about all that. And so this one, I really want to break down certain topics of like consistent child abuse and the ranch and our views of being so young, being in the Sea Org, how we viewed the world, the things we weren't allowed to say, things like that. Thank you. Remember, we are not your auditors. We are your support. That's another thing. That's actually such a fucking thank you for that. One thing I reflect on is that I can become resentful immediately in a moment because somebody is acting, or in my mind I'm like, oh my God, you're, you know, acting like this, or it feels like you're doing this to me. And a lot of the times I've tried to share that with different people or different relationships. It's come out in a way where I'm saying you're treating me like a Scientologist, when I really mean, what I really mean is that I'm being, I'm having a response, literally a physical, angry response to this person's words or whatever we're talking about. And now, because I can't handle that conversation, I don't have, I'm not, or if I have it, I'm not using, I'm not aware of what the tool or the method would be to calmly or easily deal with that conversation or whatever the subject is when I'm feeling that way. So yeah, I'm working on it. I have to find a way to be able to communicate in the moment that I'm not able to, or I don't know, I'm literally working on it. So these are just things that I'm noticing about myself, is that something can get drawn on like so far because I just didn't say, or when I did say it, it got mistaken or whatever it is. Maybe I'm saying it in a way that shouldn't be said that way, but whatever it is, it's received as somebody attacking me and I'm trying to defend myself. And so and the crazy thing is, like, don't we all do that? Like, we're all like trying to protect ourselves, and we're all trying to like defend ourselves, or for me, it's defend that smaller me that was, because we're all adults now. So now we're like, come on, we all need to like grow up and act like adults. But as adults, I find myself constantly protecting that young me that's like, you're not hearing me, or no, you can't tell me what to do. And it's just so wild. And right now, the way that I can get through that is that, sorry, I'm a little behind on the chat, guys, but I'm also not looking at it right. You guys are very distracting. So yeah, I just forgot what I was saying. So yeah, I am, it actually feels fun for me. But when I realized, like, it feels fun for me to be like, okay, you know what? Right now, let's break this all down. You know what I mean? But when I was working up to it and realizing, like, dang, Laura, like, for me, Laura Megan Anderson, I gotta really fill up what's empty, what I'm feeling empty or not loved, you know, within myself. And because then I can be a better person for other people and for my everything, for my animals. And that's what I want to do. That is my goal. Okay, guys? All right. So on that note, and a good friend of mine told me when I'm doing the live streams, it's okay to pause, drink, breathe, and then get into it. Okay. So I felt like the best way to start this. Thank you guys all for being here, by the way. I see you all in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully, I think I'm going to do pretty good, especially because I'm not drinking, like I said, with keeping a bit on track, but we'll see how that goes. I have some pictures that I'm going to show, and then I also have some physical pictures that I'm going to show just to do some comparisons. And then I have some photos that I'm going to show on the computer. I have a mix, like I have some here and then I have some actually on the computer that I can just show. But so we'll I'm assuming, I don't know how long I want to go with this. This is also, I could end it right now and be like, all right, so that's what I'm doing. But I'm going to go as I go. And then I guess the idea is that I'm just going to go as we go. And at least I have it all in an order, so that if I do end up only getting this much done with all y'all, then I know where to come back after this. Okay. Okay. So the first thing I wanted to bring up is, I always say, thank you, chat. I love you all. And don't let nobody tell you guys in chat that I don't love you. Unless I specifically have told you I don't love you, that means that then I don't not love you. Okay. If I just have to, this was a big thing for me to go through, the whole like realization that if I want to heal from what I want to heal from, and be able to talk about all this without fucking breaking down every single time or having a negative reaction to other people, then that's what I'm going to do. And, you know, if I can rock out on the stage, then I'm sure that's my assumption, is that I can get through this. We'll see, guys. I might just break the screen. But thank you, guys. Thank you for your reminders and the take your times and all that. Thank you. Church is to blame for all the trauma. Well, the thing is I don't, thank you. The thing is that I don't want to give the power or the feeling that the church is in charge or responsible for my trauma. I just used in charge. Or that they, you know what I mean? Like, I need to address it as this is what happened, and just go from there. And just go from there. I want to be able to cover and talk about anything freely without having like little panic attacks inside that nobody knows I'm going through and I'm just like dealing with inside. So, and not only that, to be able to talk about it openly and smoothly, and like, and in the advance of being able to help other people get through everything. So it's crazy because I've gone through certain like pockets of like healing, and like, you know, like I never thought I would get through this, or never thought I would be able to see certain anger or like people that I was upset with in a different way. And every year it's different. And I've seen that the more that I work on myself, the more that it's not even work, just the more that I give myself attention about what I'm feeling in the moments. What's going on? Why do I feel like I want to go freaking like slam the fucking door? What's going on? And I need to be able to feel that and then know where to go from there in a better direction. Okay. So, thank you, chat, for being here. Try to keep me on progress. I see a bunch of my sweet regulars in here, so thank you all for being here. If you guys have any questions, hopefully the mods can just hopefully if you guys can just, I know we always say this, put caps, question, or a Q, and then hopefully if I see it, I can answer it right away as I'm going, or if I know that the answer is coming, then I'll let you know. But I think unless it's a question that can wait until the end, then we'll do questions at the end. I remind myself there's no deadlines to process. Exactly. That's exactly how I felt. I'm not even kidding. And I said, oh, well, Josiah actually inspired me. Shout out to Josiah. I really listened to your stream like 4 days ago or 5. I forget what day, but you were talking about religion and you were talking about trying and like his whole story. And there was something about like, I want to do that. I want to really do that for myself and really be joyful at doing that. I want to be happy and excited about whatever the next thing is, or the next beautiful things are that I have to go through and feel. And I'm ready to experience that and feel that. And I feel like it's, like I said, it feels like something new to me. And so that's what's cool. So yeah, in the chat, we're trying, you guys keep me posted. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, obviously, for those of you who are new or are watching this randomly on YouTube and just want to get a quick recap, I've been talking about the Int Ranch Cadet Org, the International Ranch Cadet Org. But basically the cadet orgs are like, so they're the soldiers, the mini children. I was going to say the mini Sea Org member cadets. They're called the cadets, but they are the ones that are expected. They're technically looked at as being in the Sea Org. Like even children, especially where I was at the Int Ranch. There's an Int Ranch Cadet Org, but and there was at this time many, I would say about 5 to 10 different cadet organizations with kids in all kinds of horrible situations, like not similar to the Int Ranch, similar and under the same exact structure, but or policies, or you know, the demands of how Sea Org members interact with other Sea Org members. Children were not looked at differently at the Int Ranch or the cadet orgs. In fact, they were expected to be the future executives of, or the future, you know, experienced heads of the divisions or the organizations in the Sea organization. So they were already considered to be in the Sea Org. Like they already had the kids, myself, like 3 years old, 4 years old and up, signing billion-year contracts. They already did that. Like they were already doing, they already did that. See, I'm going back into, they already did that at this time. When I was at the ranch, I had to sign that billion-year contract to get to the Int Ranch. And I remember I've said this so many times where I was signing it with a red crayon because they had like 3 or 4 crayons, a pen, they had a pencil. And for some reason I was like, I have a choice still to be a child in one tiny little perspective. And so that for me was the red crayon. And I picked up the red crayon and I signed so nicely as much as I could. Somebody had just used it, I guess, before me and kind of made the point not so pointy, and that annoyed the fuck out of me because it kind of messed up my anyway. So I was signing a billion-year contract at 4 years old, and again at 8 or 9 years old, and then again when they, and we'll talk about this if we get there tonight, this afternoon. But they made us sign it again when they were shipping all the kids from the Int Ranch Cadet Org off to the different Sea organizations, the outside organizations that they were joining. They made us all sign it again there. And every time it just got fancier and fancier. It was just like, you know, there was a shitty version of the Sea Org. I wonder, actually, I think you guys have all seen it, but I mean, I have it somewhere. Look at me in my folders somewhere. Where did I put it? Protesting, right here. I think I just put it away. Is it here? No. Dang it. Okay, well. Yeah, anyway. Oh, wait. Here's an old version of the Sea Org contract. Sorry, just yelling in the mic. Here, can you guys see that? That's kind of, and so later on it got really fancy and they made it gold and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, so yeah, it's really weird to constantly see the Sea Org contracts. Like even when people are telling their stories on YouTube and they'll show the Sea Org contract, or when Nora or anybody is pulling up a document and it's like, this is the official, this is how, like, the flag order, or this is these images are like stuck in our minds, and it's so crazy that it's just so normal. And I was wondering, I'm like, as children, it's not, it's so insane that yes, our minds are so knowledgeable in this cult, the Scientology cult, but as for that to have happened, for somebody to just pop up an image on YouTube or something talking about Scientology or the children or the Sea Org, and they pull up a reference, or it's literally like, oh, yep, like crystal clear as day, like how the paper felt and all this, like when they printed new ones, how the ink smelt, and the goldenrod ink paper, when they would literally print, you know, suppressive person declare orders or on the goldenrod. Hence this color, guys. A lot of people ask me that question. When you get declared an SP, they print it on a specific goldenrod color. Or Court of Ethics or whatever it is. And the Sea Org contract was one of those things, not only because I signed it 3 times and it was like always such a big event and there was all these kids in the room and we were like all signing billion-year contracts. There was like 30 children the first time when we were signing contracts to go in. It was like these, I'm not sure if it was like a prerequisite or they hadn't done it already for the babies that were in the ATA, which we'll get into, the Apollo Training Academy, which is basically just where they had the kindergarten and toddlers and all kinds of little children. What was I just saying? Oh yeah, so contracts, yeah. So I'm not sure even if like maybe they even made us sign a contract when we were at the ATA or the CEO. I don't specifically remember that memory, but it's just crazy that like when somebody, even Jamie, oh my God, I should throw out his book, Child X, go get Child X. But when Jamie Mustard is talking about all kinds of like just regular normal abuse at, you know, in his childhood and the way that he in his, I can't even say childhood, and the way that he was raised, not properly or whatever, not raised. I guess raised could be badly raised. But there's so many details where I'm like, wait, what year was that? And who was doing what at that time? And so here I'm going to show, first thing I'm going to show is I wanted to show I don't know if I should start with the old policy letters and then get into the pictures of the ranch and everything, since some of these policy letters were being made or whatever. Like some of them were way before. Some of them were way before I was even born, or that, you know, there were other kids that are older than me and they were babies at this time. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I show you guys all the policy letters, or should I? Yeah, because I feel like if I start showing you the pictures, the Casio Canyon Int Ranch stuff and all of that, I feel like I'll get really sidetracked on the Int Ranch. And I want to really show you guys like why. I want to show you guys why this concept constantly evolve. I guess that's what we'll do. I'm going to show you some references first. Here, let's put that down there. What do you guys think? Did anybody answer me? Should I show you guys like the policies and the FOs from like 1968 and 1988 and all that, of when they were like figuring out what to do and the perspective and just like how they dealt with children? Or do you think I should? But it's part of the story. See, that's part of the fucking thing, is that these were all the normal. Here, guys, I'm going to just, maybe we'll talk about, maybe it'll be a mix. We'll see how it goes. Okay, hold on one second. Int Ranch. Okay. So there's some crazy ass policies. These were like FO, what they call, yeah, they can be an FO, like I said, flag order, or a policy letter, or an ED, executive order, or executive directive. There's so many fucking ooga booga wooga names for it, but really these were just basically like the orders and the laws and the structure of how the Sea Org and Scientology had to be. The ATA, this was I guess, you know what, guys? You guys, I'm going to just present some of whatever I'm reading, and then you guys can just kind of read along with me. And I want to show you why some of this stuff was just completely normal. Hold on. Actually, we'll go with that here. Where is I don't know if you guys, I know a lot of you guys know that, you know, kids are not children or viewed as children in Scientology or the cadet org, or Sea Org or anything, that children are adults in small bodies, beings, spiritual beings in small bodies, big spiritual beings, and should be able to do anything that an adult is capable of doing. Or any Sea Org member can be, you know, they can be, okay, sorry, I'm looking for this as I'm talking, but, and that comes from this one. Let me find it. I think it's this. Nope. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I should have had these labeled. I was just throwing them in there. Oh, that's 82. 17 August 82. Rules concerning. Okay, so wait. I wanted to show you the big being ones. Where is that? Where is that? This? Yes. Okay. So this here, present. Let me exit out of there. Share screen. Okay, you guys can see this. Here, this is a flag order. And look here, you can see on the date on the top right corner. This is 1968, 31 May, 1968. And it's just called ethics. Okay. I already go into this, like, into this Scientology Sea Org mode. Ethics. Like every time I see ethics, even the ethics book, which I had to read all the time, I would read it like somebody was like yelling at me, like, or not like being stern with me, like a Sea Org or Ron, Mr. Hubbard or whatever, or like one of the execs that would talk at the event. Anyways, okay, so ethics. This is a Sea organization. See at the very top. Some FOs, I think, are for Sea Org. I'm pretty sure those are that's the difference. There's some things I'm still don't know everything about. But this one says, a Thetan is simply a Thetan. Body size has nothing to do with it. The trouble with children, quotes, right, is that it is... Oh, the trouble with children is that it is a generality. That's the way children are. A suppressive is a suppressive, whether he is big or small. This is from L. Ron Hubbard. We don't have suppressives in the Sea Org, whether they are big or small. Big or small upstats get upstat treatment and SPs get declared. Oh, he's saying big or small, upstats get upstat treatment and SPs get declared. Okay. So that's just period. That's that. I wanted to show you that. We'll start with that. That was that. And there's many other ones. We're going to bounce around here and then we can start on the ranch stuff. I just wanted you guys to like kind of read some of these things that I was going through, that it kind of healed me reading them, because I was like, oh my God, like some of these things I was wondering, oh, why did that happen? Or, you know, and then I'm realizing, oh, it's because it was part of this letter or part of this directive or whatever. Here it says cadet organization. So this is 1980. Dear all, the cadet. Oh, sorry, I'm reading. I haven't showed you guys yet. Okay, I'll just read you the. I'm just going to show it to you guys because I want to. I want to show you what I was reading and what I'm talking about when I'm like getting into, like, basically reading about my baby childhood and before I was even born. You know, so This is to all PAC staff and parents. PAC means Pacific. It's basically the whole blue building area, anywhere in this Pacific area command, something I forget. Oh my God, I'm trying to unlearn and learn and unlearn. Okay, so this is on 4th of January, so right after New Year's. I always pay attention to dates now too. I'm like, whoa, like what was I doing or what was happening in that year? It says, Dear all, the Cadet Estates Org was established by a mission as a functioning org taking care of children. I'm sorry, that sounded so weird. And I'm, functioning my ass. But okay, let me reread that. The Cadet Estates Org, the CEO, which is where all the babies and everything were, the children and the kids were being freaking not taken care of. The Cadet Estates Org was established by a mission as a functioning org taking care of children, cadets, up to the age where they became old enough to be placed in the Cadet Org, in quotes. The Cadet Org. The Cadet Org in the past has been an ill run. So they already, before 1980, okay, this is another thing I was realizing. Before 1980, all these problems with children and kids were already happening. So these crimes of the children of the Sea Org and Scientology have been going on for 40, 50 years, probably before I was even born. Maybe 30 or whatever. Who knows? Literally, I bet you I am right. 30, 40 years before I was born. I bet you find some child being abused by Scientology BS like this. So the Cadet Org and they had to wait until finally kids like us who left Scientology through all the fucking shit are finally sitting on YouTube like freaking getting judged like crazy and judging ourselves and like having to go through all this. It's just crazy. So everything just goes through my mind when I read like the date 1980. What the fuck? They're literally saying in the past, the Cadet Org in the past has been an ill-run, out ethics, criminally neglected. They're literally admitting to their fucking crimes right here. Criminally neglected area which wasn't being handled. Consequently, the cadets, quotes, weren't becoming competent, happy, and well-trained children who are a credit to the Sea Org and our resources, LRH. That's a quote from L. Ron Hubbard, where he was saying cadets are being trained and groomed, use the right words, to become the most competent, happy, and well-trained children who are a credit to the Sea Org and our resources. LRH. Okay, child trafficking lawyers out there, that's right. You can use that in your lawsuit. Thank you. Okay, so the Cadet Org, so I'm going on. So the Cadet Org was put under CEO per the following LRH references, which is so fucking stupid. And I'm definitely not looking at chat right now either, because this is this is super important. The Cadet Org in the past has been an ill run, So what did he say? Oh, it's repeating. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, good. Okay, so the Cadet Org was put under CEO per the following LRH references, ... So what I've got plotted is an actual child, a Cadet Org that is seniored by adults, but which has a channel which solves that why, so that no order is passed except through the CO. An order cannot be passed directly to a child, not even Johnny wipe your nose. ... That's it. ... LRH. Literally, what? An order cannot be passed directly to a child. This is so fucking, it's almost like they knew already about the legality. I don't know how you, the illegality of the situation, that they're literally saying an adult can't order somebody else. So another child has to order a child. The quarters you are looking for are quarters for the cadet org. It will be a Division 7 org headed by adults, and below exec level manned by children who have actual posts. The cross order scene is then handled. Oh, because I guess there was some cross order happening, which means some senior tells somebody else to do something, but then somebody else tells them to do something else. So there's a cross order. So he's saying that only these adults who have control over the kids basically will be the ones to handle. Do you guys see they use handle a lot too, which is so crazy. You're just always fixing. You're always handling. There's always a problem. We got that handled. We got the bank handled. All of that handled. Okay. You want quarters where you can have a baby care unit, dormitories, kitchens, and moderate space for the cadet org desks, auditing, and qual functions. So that's why we were all given our own little desks or tables to sit at. Therefore, the following is established. 1, the cadet estates org is now to be called the cadet org. The CEO, where all the kids and the babies and everything, is now to be called the cadet org. 2, all orders to children, the cadets, must go through command channels at the cadet org. All orders to children must go through command channels at the cadet org. Cadets will be receiving Scientology training as well as regular schooling, the 3 R's. That was reading, writing, and arithmetic, I think. I don't know. And once they have passed their check sheets, there's always check sheets and routing forms. Everything has a form and the way you do it. You do this course, you have to write a check sheet. And at the end of all these check sheets, I'll show you in a minute here, they always have these you got to sign this and basically give your rights away. That's pretty much what they have at the end of all these little check sheets. So a credit to the Sea Org and our resources. Basically saying the children are being used right here. A credit to the Sea Org and our resources. So that's what LRH states, and that's what is being done and formed with no arbitraries. And this was from, anybody know who this is? Jim Garrett. And if you do, please email me maybe if you want to talk about anything or give me any info. And then Rachel Roussel, DCO, CMO, PACCOM. Wow. These are all just freaking titles, post titles in the organization, but they all have to have who. I remember when they were writing the policy letters or the FOs or whatever it was, they would have the initials, and these I believe are the initials of who. Yeah, Jim Garrett was probably that. Rachel, yeah, right there. So that's how you, at the time, whoever was holding that post, you would see their initials, or I would just know that that was them. Okay, that's just one. We're going to quickly go through this. Oh, whoops, is it still sharing? No. Okay, good. We're going to quickly go through a few more of these little CEO/ATA. Let's see what this is. Oh, whoops. Nope, that was, sorry. Totally opened the wrong thing. Do not open my Final Cut Pro. Thank you. No. Okay. We got that one. Okay, what is this one? Okay, this is so crazy. So this is in 1996, or that's jumping ahead. So let me back up, because I wanted to bring it. This was from the cadet org at the Pack Ranch here, where in 96, which is, 10 or so years, after they were talking about these other, or whatever, I'm not doing the right math, but these in 96, these were from, what I'm going to show you actually right now are from ethics handlings and the way they would treat children at the Pack Cadet Org in Saugus. They call it the Pack Ranch. And there's actually some names in here. I didn't even finish reading it, but I'm going to share it with you guys, because this is going to get you in this understanding the mindset again of what, once you keep reading all these policy letters and the way to be all the time, that's literally who you become. That's who we became as children, quote, right? Cadets, for the rest of our childhood, our teenage child, everything growing up was all based on all of this and why it was okay to treat children like this. Okay, these are old, these are a little weird, and I think they're like, it's like an old typewriter or something. Oh, let me exit out of this, or I can put this down here. Okay, can you guys see that? Oh no, you can't there. Okay, so this is literally documents from this is a little rough. By the way, guys, again, you should already have a trigger warning and all that before I get into this. And what we will be talking about just as we go on. This can be triggering, so be prepared. And if you can't handle it, again, probably don't watch my channel. Okay, here we go. So this is basically something that was typed up after they did an investigation. You can see here, it says it's the CO Cadets Estate Org PAC, and it went, and it was or to the DCO for Ethics and Image, which is the deputy, yeah, basically Ethics and Image PAC, which is basically the people ethics department that handles, you know, the ethics, the senior ethics department that handles the ethics of anything basically flapping in the organization. Flapping. Okay, so here it says reinvest into the report from Ann Mintz. Okay. Dear sir, what was ordered? There's certain ways, by the way, that even L. Ron Hubbard tells you, it, or like shows how a 7R graph is supposed to be used, and how certain, you know, the way you're supposed to write a report or a document or a response back to the senior or whatever it is. And as you can see on the top, they CC the seniors below and above and whoever's job it is to handle that. And here you guys can see 11 January 96. Okay. So what was ordered? So there was an order from above, right? Dave Miscavige. Or let's, yeah, 96, David Miscavige. Literally, this is crazy. Get a real invest done, an investigation. That's what that means. Can you guys see the thing? Can you guys see the screen or not? Tell me if you can see it, because I suck at looking at chat when I'm doing this, and so I should see now. Oh, hi, Dylan. I just saw you wave in the chat. Hi, Auntie and everybody. Okay, you can see it. Okay, perfection. Okay, so let's go to this. What was ordered? Get a real investigation done. Find out what exactly is going on with, and then get a handling done on Yari, Manuel, and Jared. Max and any other child that might be making an unsafe environment for the rest of the kids at the ATA. The ATA was the Apollo Training Academy. Or that's what it was called. But I'm pretty sure the ATA, in my mind as a child, I believe that the ATA was the screen, you know, by the blue building where they had that. So somebody, if I was wrong in the chat, tell me that. And maybe it's not that, and it's the other place where we were all raised as babies. But I thought the CEO was that, and the ATA was by the blue building, by PAC. Let me know. Okay. So basically, this is a report. Oh, God, what's gross about this is a report that was done as like the KR end result program steps to do to fix these cadets of all this shit that was going on. Like this is just basically like, I forget what they call it, but they called it in a security check. They called it like the, I guess it's called the auditing KR or the auditing report, whatever. Okay. So, okay, where was I? What was ordered? Get a real invest done. Find out what exactly is going on with, and then get handlings done on Jarl, Manuel, Jared, Max, and any other child that might be making an unsafe environment for the rest of the kids at the ATA. What was done? I broke this invest down into the following, this investigation. Group A, which is, they would literally call it, are you in group A, group B? Which is group B, upper elementary group. Group A is primary elementary group ages. I barely even know what ages that is. I would have to like remember, because I don't even know. We didn't know. We didn't grow up with grades and all that. This is the group that Larissa, the child, is in. So I'm assuming Larissa's a few years younger than these other cadets, right? Group B, upper elementary group ages. This group that seems to be the source of the upsets per the KR. KR is the knowledge report. The knowledge report is what you basically tattletale and write in writing and report people that are doing out ethics things, or not okay things, or abuse, whatever. You're reporting it to ethics. That's a knowledge report. Group A, per the invest, the top name that came up was Daniel Olson. I know who Daniel Olson is, and definitely a cadet. A breakdown of the reports and type of stuff he has been doing is this. Daniel Olson, hope you're watching. You can speak out if you are. Messing up the spaces. So this is what they were literally reporting that this child was doing while being a cadet under the care, quote, care of Scientology and the Sea Org. Okay. And they're saying this is what's wrong with Daniel Olson, this cadet. Messing up the spaces, kitchen, trashing the school, peeing in the Christmas cookie dough. Very foul. Oh my God. Very foul out 2D, which is, again, we're growing up since babies with all these like freaking fake languages and words. Out 2D is basically saying sexual things. Very foul out 2D language to others and supervisors. Rudeness, making a hole in the wall at the AB, which is the Anthony building, which is literally where old Sea Org members are still living today. Just a few blocks away from me, and they are there, just so you know. They're unloading buses, not to totally jump off and go sidetracked right now, but they're unloading buses at 8 o'clock, around 8 o'clock every evening at the AB in the evenings, with a bunch of old people coming off of the bus. So they're that's the bus run for all the old people to, I guess, get in there early before anybody can say that we have old people out late, you know? Or not we, the Sea Org. That's what I was imagining their excuse would be. Anyway, so if you're missing grandparents and you miss your elderly and they're in the Sea Org, or you have friends that you knew were in the Sea Org and they're elderly, it would be good if maybe I can catch them tonight. We'll see. We'll see how my trauma healing is going. Okay, so let's keep going. I'm just saying, I'm reading all this because this has been going on, not just from my childhood, guys, not just, oh, well, you know, this only happened at the ranch, or, you know, the cadet orgs, or this. No, this was literally a mixture of babies and sort of like kids of Scientologists, but they're like not sure what to do with them yet because one of the parents isn't, you know, eligible to join the Sea Org, and they would literally be like balancing them through these like things, old freaking CEO care, and writing new policies in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. Like, how do we handle these kids? These cadets are all problems. So they still apparently didn't get it and had to continue to do it even for our childhoods and the children that are still in there. And it all started with, oh, well, why don't we just have them, you know, do this course, or, you know, they can work on their TRs, or they can do this, or they can. No, children need to be cared for properly. They don't need to be doing anything Scientology, or you're going to fucking end up with somebody like this. A bunch of kids doing this. This happened often. Okay, let's continue. Back to the AB. So yes, making a hole in the hall at the AB, hurting girls, hurting other boys, using threats of physical violence, disturbing course room, throwing toilet paper rolls at others, beating smaller children in the course room. Dad, hi, Dad. Did you hear that when you said, oh, I brought Laura Megan Anderson to the ranch, or sorry, this boarding school that you couldn't say was the ranch, where she wouldn't get bullied, right? Where kids weren't getting bullied. Are you kidding? There was all kinds of internal bullying fucking happening because kids were going crazy because you were not there. Hurting other boys, using threats of physical violence, disturbing course rooms, throwing toilet paper rolls at others, beating smaller children in the course room, brandishing a knife at the AB, telling others that he was going to kill them, telling other kids he was going to fuck them in the butt, stealing, taking other hygiene stuff, shampoo, soap, teasing others, antagonizing and calling others names, using bad words, breaking into the basement rooms at the AB. This sounds like a kid trapped in a jail. It sounds like a child who has lost it and is trapped in even in his mind, he can't go anywhere. He literally can't go anywhere. So now he's being rebellion in the only space he can fucking be rebellion or to have his way, apparently. He's still in the confines of all these buildings under all these adults and Sea Org members who are not their parents. Okay. Breaking into the basement rooms at the AB, watching TV, threatening to beat up others if they tell, etc. He came up on the Group A age group the most often, 25 times. So they're splitting up Group A and Group B. There were the younger children and then the younger child cadets and then the older child cadets, basically. And they're saying that when they did their investigation, which means interrogating all the other kids to see who's doing what, right? Daniel Olson came up 25 times. He also had more mentions from the investigation, than any other child out of both age groups. The next most interpellative from oh my God, the amount of times I've heard, you need to stop being interpellative. Oh, we're going to put her on a non-interpolation order. The next most interpellative, they're saying the next child that was the most interpellative from this age group was Ryan Zimitor. Hi, Ryan Zimitor. I know Ryan Zimitor as well. I think Ryan Zimitor is, I want to say he's out sort of mentally of Scientology, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he is, but I do know him, another cadet. Ryan Zimitor. This is mainly in the area of bullying smaller boys. He came up 17 times. Bad boy, Ryan Zimitor. You're bullying the cadets. You came up 17 times. Ryan, though only 9 years old. Look right here. Is the evidence not in the pudding or whatever? Ryan, though only 9 years old, is bigger than most 12-year-olds. Body-wise, when I pulled in Ryan, that means pulled him into the ethics office and asked him where he got this from, he says that his brother does it to him a lot. Ryan was also one of the cadets. Oh my God, his brother, Ryan and Sep. No, oh my God, I forgot. Okay, Ryan was also one of the cadets. Was also one of the cadets returned to the ATA. Yeah, so I was right. The ATA, I was right. The ATA, I think I'm right. So Ryan was returned to the ATA before the SEMO Int ethics mission terminated in April. So there was a mission that went down, which had other Sea Org older adults or older cadets on the mission getting the ethics in. And I believe some of the Int Ranch cadets went down to be part of that mission, especially if this was in 96. He used to be a cadet at the ranch. So they're saying Ryan Ryan was also one of the cadets returned to the ATA before the CMO in execs or ethics mission terminated in April. He used to be a cadet at the ranch and was there when this other earlier stuff blew up. They like to use that. It blew up. It's a flap. It blew up. The most, okay, Group B. Now we're going to Group B. The most interpolative of this group was Yari Giardano. I forget, Gardandando. I'm all the cadets know I'm saying it wrong right now. I'm sorry. This is in the area of degrading soups, supervisors. They literally say soups all the time. Did you see the soup? Did you ask the soup? Did you raise your hand? You got to raise your hand and the soup will call on you. Literally all the time. Anywhere in the org. Soup, 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 soup. They're not talking about soup. They're talking about supervisors. Although yummy soup. Ooh, let me drink my smoothie. Okay. Okay, so this is in the area of degrading soups. So he's degrading the supervisors, the core supervisors. Using foul 2D language. He's using sexual language. Threatening body harm, taking money, stealing, messing up the place, messing up and throwing food, calling others fags and threatening to fuck them in the butt, interpolating both Group A and Group B course rooms, etc. He came up 18 times, second after Daniel Olson overall for both groups. I mean, these kids are literally 9 and 10 years old. 9, 10, 11, 12. And then younger. This is like what I'm getting to, guys. It's all in the freaking written, hand typed, whatever shit directed by L. Ron Hubbard. Everything was directed by L. Ron Hubbard that washed itself down and got more warped and more fucked. And then David took it over and got more fucked and more warped. But this is all disgusting. This is where people think it's normal that they're even writing a report with all of this shit happening as 9, 10-year-old, 11-year-old children are getting in trouble, and now they're going to have to be what? Now sent to the ethics group. Now they're sent to the governance group. We'll get into that, but this is what this is going to. So they're here to clean all these out ethics children's acts up because all of this shit is going on in there. Guys, all the evidence is in the writing. Excessive arguments, etc., degrading staff, abusive language, teasing other kids, hurting others, blowing. See right here, guys, blowing. 2D, 2D language, excessive arguments, etc. He came up 12 times from this older group. See the attached. The Who's are Daniel, Ryan, Yari, and Max Disher. So when they do an invest, as they keep saying, an invest, they have to find the who, what, where, why, or the who, the whatever. So they have specific things that they have to find. And so the first thing is, who is it? So it's Daniel, Ryan, Yari, and Max Disher. I also know Max Disher very well. Max Disher definitely hasn't openly spoken about leaving Scientology. I don't know if he's still, I'm sure he mentally still unawarely does things and acts like a Scientologist for sure, but I don't know if I would really use him as a current representation of Scientology. Just my assumption. Okay, so yeah, Max Disher, definitely. So let's see. When I talked to Manuel Edgehill about the incident after showing him a copy of the KR knowledge report, he said that he was not even there, and this looked to be an honest statement. I pulled in Jared, and Jared, I wonder if that's Jared Schimmelhorn. I don't know. Okay. I pulled in Jared and he said that the KR was wrong. And I asked in what way. And he said that Jared was the worst, but it is not clear in the KR what occurred. And so pulling the string on it, Jared said that he heard a noise out in the hallway and he saw Yari making fun of Larissa and verbally abusing her and laughing at her and mimicking her. Jared came out of the boys' dorm 106 and saw Yari, and he said, see how they have to be precise? Time, place, form, and event. He came out, dorm 101, 106, and he said he was laughing at what Yari was doing and that he did not know that Yari had thrown the screwdriver at Larissa at all. So you have another cadet throwing a screwdriver at a younger girl. He insisted he was not laughing at Larissa. I asked Jared, what about teasing Larissa? And he said that he did tease her, but that was long ago, months, and has not done so in quite a while. Sorry. It's just all so fucking horrible. But like, what did you do? And he's like, I promise I haven't teased her. But that was months ago and has not done so in quite a while. Larissa is getting tutoring and so is not usually there at the school. And at nights, her dorm is room 101 at the AB. Okay, that's the Anthony building, guys. And his is at the other end of the building in room 106. So he does not see her. He does not go to the girls' dorm 101, or at least not recently. As far as letting her play in group games, the groups are supposed to be separated. The younger group plays games in the backyard. The main reason for this is that because the older group is older by an average of almost 5 to 6 years old and have much bigger bodies. That's the only reason. Mixing them is discouraged mainly because the bigger bodies, even accidentally, because of their size alone, is just plain practical. Mixing them is discouraged mainly because the bigger bodies, even accidentally, because of their size alone, is just plain practical. Okay, whatever. Jared was one of the ATA kids who did the governess program. Okay, so they were doing the governess program as well. Yeah, I guess I knew that. I think they call it the ethics corrections group or something at the Pack Ranch. But yeah, the governess program in April, just before the mission left, and has improved since the last 2 months. So he's improved. Pulling the string with Jared and finding out why he teases or tries to upset anyone even once. He says that there is a group of older boys in Group B that have been giving him very derogatory nickname. Shit. This is so fucked up. So this is, so Jordan, Jared, and I think Brian Shimmerhorn, which we're going to see pictures of soon at the end on this thing, the Int Ranch thing. They're all like, I think they're all black or they're all mixed, something, but either way, this is a fucking fucked up name because I'm saying it was a common normal thing, but because it was a common normal thing for other kids as a joke or as a nickname to call Jared this. And oh my God, RIP. I believe Jared is no longer with us. I just remembered. Anyways, so they're pulling the string on why this kid, this is what they call it, pulling the string on why this kid was abusing or bullying Larissa, but they don't call it that. They're saying, oh, he has a bigger body and, you know, whatever. Okay. Jared was one of the ATA kids who did the governess program. I'm going to read it as it is, guys. Okay. I told you this is triggering. But this is the shit that needs to be read and talked about, because then you guys in the outside world, it's not you guys, I'm just saying it helps me explain and really understand, and also look back at what I was being put through as a child and all the children around me, and how all of this was so normal, and why like this is the answer to why a group okays all of this abuse and nobody says anything. Okay, pulling the string with Jared and finding out why he was teasing or tries to upset anyone even once. He said that there is a group of older boys in Group B that have been giving him a very derogatory nickname, shit, because he is half black and half white. When I asked who first came up with this, he said it was Max Disher. And then later in the past 3 weeks, Brooke Zimitor, I think that's Scott Zimitor and Sabrina. No, not Zimmer. No, that's Sabrina Zimmer. Zimitor. Yeah. No. So it's not. It's anyways, I know the Zimitors. Ryan Zimitor. Okay. When I asked who first came up with this, he said it was Max Disher. I literally know all these people. Okay. And then later in the past 3 weeks, Brooke Zimitor, another one of the ranch governance group from the mission, was brought down for bullying and taking part in the hell being raised by Kyle Kaysen, who was declared. Okay. Oop, take a note. Who's Kyle Kaysen? That'll be interesting. Kyle Kaysen, who was declared. This is now a common practice, and as late as a couple of days ago, Jared tried to get the group of boys, Brooke, Max Disher, Arthur Milford. Hi, Arthur. Chris Olsen, Neil Olsen, and maybe Mickey Sarkovich. Okay. Mickey Sarkovich, Carly Sarkovich, and there's another one. Oh, Mickey's brother, Rocky Sarkovich. Oh my goodness. Okay. It's all coming back. But not okay. So they said Neil and maybe Mickey Sarkovich, but not sure on the last one, who were heckling him and using the word on him. He got upset. Oh, these were all the people that were using that. And because Brooke Z and Max Disher are at least 50% larger than Jared, he did not attack them, but was very outrudiments and restimulated. See, they can't even say, but was very upset and angry. They have to use Scientology words, outrudes and restimulated. Okay, summary. What I get from this is that there are certain who's that cause the interbulation with other kids who in turn cannot handle the bigger bodies. So do as they have done to them, which is to pick on smaller bodies. My basis for this is the attached chart, which shows how this occurs. Oh, do we have it? No, dang it. I thought we had the chart. I get the impression of there is a group of interbulative J and D bullies, joking and degraders, joking, and that's a whole policy letter on its own. So they're saying interbulative J and D bullies who use threats, teasing, and hazing to control other smaller than they are. And this sort of creates a ripple effect. The smaller kids unable to do anything physically back, look at the smaller kids and dramatize what the bigger ones do to them, and this keeps going. Okay, so this was just a report. Reinvest into the report from Ann Mintz. So it was a report from Ann Mintz. I don't know who that is. Could be one of the adults or the was that, Jesus Christ, that was a lot already. Like, to me, just reading all that is just like, wow. Like, reading all those names, I'm just like, I go right back there. Literally, I go right back there. Okay, let me just see really quick if there's one other. I think I wanted to read to you guys the governess reference because we'll be talking about that. I just don't know if I have it. The Pack Cadet or this is an 81. Any child who has passed. Okay. Children, people who have not passed check sheets. Okay, yeah, there's some stuff in here I wanted to show you, but I guess it's more policies, and I don't know if I should jump ahead or not, because I feel like I want to get into, I guess I can always come back to some of the references here. Oh, here's the governance. Okay, let's read this really quick, just to remind you about the heavy overlooking cloud of policies and rules that we had to abide to. This was one of them. And this was specifically given to my mother, when she came to visit me one time at the Int Ranch, one of the times on Sunday morning, and she had been told that I had been so out ethics, and you know, she's been doing work and mess work all week, you know, being banky and screaming and backflashing and kicking. And at this point, I'm pretty sure I was kicking the security guard when he was dragging me, Kenny Campbellman. And I was basically swearing at I was swearing at the Renee Berther. I was swearing at Casavius Tabioyan, also known as Cat or Mr. Tab. Renee Berther was a cadet. Anyways, she became the governess. And this man, Casavius Tabioyan, at one point, Martin Habscheit, who was like a German fucking farmer, who would like had a really strong accent and was very rough and like physically just unaware of children at some point. I don't know. Said sometimes he was fine, and then sometimes he was like a fucking psycho. So anyways, wow. One time he would like him and Casavius dragged Amber and spanked her, and it was just like, it was so aggressive. And so one of these Sundays, my mom came to see me, you know, for the 2 hours, which we'll get to. A lot of you already know it, but on Sunday mornings was the only time for 2 hours that the parents of the cadets are allowed. They like have permission, if they get permission, approval, or they finish their cleaning station, which is their cleaning job on the base property, whatever that would be. They all were assigned a specific cleaning job that they had to get done weekly, and then including their dorms and their own berthing, their own like rooms where they slept as well in apartment building dorms with other married parents or other married couples. They didn't have to actually necessarily be parents, but just other married couples. So 3 married couples would split maybe a 1 or a 2 bedroom apartment. And so sometimes we would go back and see them there for 2 hours, and then we would come, and they used to, when we were younger children, they would let us go Saturday nights to our parents' berthing, our dorm. Actually, my mom or my dad or both would pick me, my brother, and my sister up and bring us over to their dorm in the middle of the night. Literally, there was a run at like 11 at night or 10:30 at night after they were done with their production, if they were approved, right? I believe it was actually midnight. It was like really late. I would always, these are memories that I remember. I would literally be like sleeping on my dad's shoulder, and I would be on his uniform, and I don't know, it just was like, I remember there's like these little memories, and a lot of them I don't remember until I'm explaining it, and I'm like, oh my god, yeah, these. And it's good for me to remember these things, because this gives me my why. No, this gives me my like why of like, God, why do I love my dad so much? What are the memories that I hold on to physically that I still care about? And like, that's one of them. I just remember like always I would be like, oh good, yay, my parents are here. And then I would be like, you know, I'd be like sleeping halfway, and I would know I would be sleeping, but I would know from the pattern of like how they were walking, where we were, and the like sound of the van going and then stopping 15 minutes later, you know, at the Devonshire or at the Kirby, or, you know, so they moved like 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times. Okay, back to this policy letter. So my mom was given this policy letter when I was fucking just done talking to any adults at the ranch, anybody. I basically was like a mute child for like 3 days. I was just so angry, and I basically was like collecting my spankings. And like I was trying to be better. I was trying to like be ethical, but I was so angry that I just didn't talk. And I just remember like being so mad inside. And not talking, I specifically like just, they call it a SERFAC, a service fac, and service facsimile. But they kept saying like, oh, she's SERFACing, she's not talking to anybody. And I was just like really feeling like every time I talked, I would get in trouble for something. And the only way that I felt that I was able to be better was to really say, like, to as is it, as they say, right? And auditing and everything and all of L. Ron Hubbard's crap. You have to as is it. You got to do it fully. And so, like, I was really, really trying to, like, follow the tech. And it just felt at a certain point that, like, I was like, fine, I just won't say anything. And I wasn't talking to anybody for 3 days. I, like, didn't say a word. And there was one time where I remember I was, like, doing the fire breaks, and it was, like, really hot. And, like, this cold breeze. What is this? This cold breeze. And the sun was, like, it was, like, 4:30. So, like, the sun was going down. And I was still not talking to anybody, but Sarah Willett, somebody was just sitting, another cadet was just sitting under the tree, under the shade, in the shade, with, like, the water bucket. And she was just, I was under 24-hour watch. So I was just, like, doing the, and I was just getting so excited about how much I had done, how much brush, how much, what is it called? Fire breaks. Fire breaks. I just remembered, like, whoa, I've gotten, like, miles and miles of brush of the fire breaks done. And I was like, I did more than, like, all the cadets that were working on the fire breaks just on their regular schedule. I had done more than they had done. And there was this weird fucking, like, validation I had that, like, I was like, well, at least I'm good at this. And I could hear them even talking about it, like, over the radio. They're like, oh yeah, like, they're like, oh wow, you guys are already over there, because they would, like, drop off water in buckets of ice to us. It would be either me by myself or, like, one other person that was under watch, either Christina or maybe 4 or 5 people one day. But basically they just knew, like, she's on mess work right now. So I would just always be doing heavy mess work, physical work. And that, anyway, so there's this cool breeze that came by, and I just remember being like, wow, like, I feel like maybe this is what L. Ron Hubbard's talking about when you do physical labor and confront the mess, that it actually brings you up tone and up the tone scale. And, like, I was like, I just felt like I just felt like something maybe kind of did work. I know that's so hard to understand a bit, but, like, I just felt like, oh, well, look, you know, I did this work and it felt good. And so I was like, maybe I'm just meant to just be doing this all the time and not really, like, talking and being loud. I don't know. So I hadn't, I was just there doing the work, and Sarah was one of the governess group. Like, she was one of the cadets that was put in charge to be the governess at the time to watch me. And even though she was a cadet, because the governess has full control over whatever happens to any of the cadets or the children or the governees, then she can say, he or she can say whatever. So I'm going to read this to you. And basically, what I was getting to is I had not been physically talking, and I used to talk all the time. Like I was like a pretty energetic, outgoing. Hi, Fox. I love you. She's giving me a leg hug. You want to give me kisses? You want to give me kisses? Oh, my little baby. You my little baby. Okay. I love you. I'm okay, you angel. She's kissing me because she knew she can feel me upset. This is my healing space, Fox. This is my healing space. She's just giving me a hug. Okay, so let me share this with you. Basically, my mom, so I hadn't talked to anybody for 3 days. They were like, hey, stay at attention. You need to wait. They kind of knew I was like starting to behave, and I was like, you know, standing at attention and waiting and listening to them, but I still wasn't talking back to them. And so I just had this overwhelming relief of like, oh my God, there's my mom. And she got off the bus. And it was like this whole thing where the Barbara Tompkins and Renee Berther went to my mom instead of me. Like, she used to do this thing and open up her arms and I would run to her. Wow. Okay. I need to hurry up with this, guys. And then she said, so she was like held like, hi, like waiting for me to do that. And then I was still standing there, and inside I just got so emotional. And like, I just started this, like, I literally was having a panic attack, but this whole, like, my body inside just got so warm, and like I felt like I couldn't breathe. And then they talked to my mom, and then my mom came over to me and I came over to her, and she said, she was like, what's going on? What's going on, honey? Like, I've heard all, like, I you know, I just started hearing all of this, like, and I just broke down because I wanted to talk, and I couldn't even talk. I was just like speechless. And I couldn't breathe. And she said, okay, you know, she kind of was like, oh my God, my daughter, like, having a full-on dramatization, whatever. And so she said, come, let's take a walk. Let's go on a locational. And I think she like tried to walk me around a little, and she realized how upset I was and that I was not going to be doing a locational. And so she brought me to my dorm, room 10 and room 9. And maybe it was room 10. And she said, that's it, what's going on? And I just cried, and she let me cry, and she was just holding me and hugging me. And then she said, what? Talk to me, you know, come on, you know, what's going on? And I just started telling her I'm getting in trouble for everything, and every time I swear they give spankings. And she's like, what do you mean spankings? And I was like, Mom, I was like, they spank us all the time. Every time we say a bad word, anytime we backflash, anytime we're out FO 38, anytime we don't finish our cleaning station in time, and whatever the rules were. Like, and so I started telling her this, and she said, and before I started telling her this, I forgot this big part. I was in the dorm crying, and she was like, what is going on? And I said, I was trying to say, they keep spanking me. And I just pulled down my pants to show her, because my mom, because I couldn't say it and I was crying. So I just pulled down my pants, and she saw all these pink and blue bruises all over my ass from all the spankings I had gotten. And I could see her eyes were like watering and then like bulged up. And she was like, no, what is going on? And she said, okay, you stay here and I'm going to go. I'll be right back. And then she walked out. Okay. And now this is where I'm getting to. So present. So she walked out and then like it felt like 10 minutes later. It could have been, I don't know. It felt like 10 minutes. I don't know. I was just sitting there. Okay. And then so they gave her this. This is the reference. Okay. The flag order. And look at the date, guys. 1968. They pulled this out of their fucking ass. And this is what they showed my mom. Sorry, hold on. Hold on, guys. I'm going to mute. Hold on. Okay. It says the governess, this is the flag order from 3rd December 1968. And it says governess. The post of the governess, post is the job. Your job title in the Sea organization. The post of governess is appointed for children who are not cadets, right? Because remember the policy letter or the whatever, I keep saying policy letters because that's just what I call all of L. Ron Hubbard's crap. But I guess there is a difference in his crap. I mean, there is a difference. So the other reference that I showed about, this is what I'm talking about like this is L. Ron Hubbard determining whether they're children or not, and how his words are so contradicting because he literally is saying, a child is a child in a small body or not. An SP is an SP, big or not, So everything, a lot, as we've noticed, a lot of his stuff is very contradicting. So it's really hard to say like, well, are they children or are they cadets? Okay, that's where I'm getting to. The post of the governess is appointed. Woo, wow. I forgot I had these headphones in to make sure I'm not screaming at everybody. The post of the governess is appointed for children who are not cadets above the age of 6 or as determined by the captain. The post of the governess is appointed for children who are not cadets above the age of 6 or as determined by the captain. Or as determined by the captain. Do you see how like anything then can just happen if the captain determines something? Then there you go. The post is under Department 9. Someday maybe we can do a whole organization board. I think I've kind of gone through some of those. A child is one who cannot handle an org or ship post. He or she is not on payroll. That's an important thing, guys. A child is one who cannot handle an org or ship post. So they know that there are children who cannot hold a position that an adult would be able to hold. Okay. And apparently they're not on post and they're not on payroll, right? They can't handle the org or a ship post. They can't be on the free winds or the Apollo or whatever fucking ship was going on in this year. Okay. He or she is not on payroll. Quarters must be found or made, not in the nursery and not in the dorms for such children. Children may not smoke or possess matches. I definitely rebelled on that one just because I was like, oh, children smoke? I was like, ew, children smoke? And then I was like, oh, I guess Becky Hughes and Tara, they smoke, you know, Barbara Tompkins extra freaking cigarettes. And then that's where I started like smoking, just because I was reading this as they put me in the governance group. Quarters must be found or made not in the, okay. Children may not smoke or possess matches. They may not have knives or toys, which can be used as or resemble weapons. So we weren't allowed to have anything like that, even though we were working with hammers and saws and shovels and rakes and clippers and all kinds of fucking shit. Which is exactly goes back to my point of why a cadet or a child would be throwing a screwdriver at a younger girl's head or whatever, throwing it at them. Because the screwdriver, there are no toys. There aren't anything around in a child fucking Scientology nursery or Sea Org organization. Not to say that was okay at all about anybody throwing anything, any age like that at anybody. They may not have knives or toys, which can be used as or resembled weapons. So remember, my mom's reading this, you know, this is one of the things, not that she was reading this. I'm just saying, even when a mother tried to let her heart decide what the right thing was to do, they handed her this. They may not wear Sea Org uniforms or parts thereof. So we were not allowed to, you know, the Tresec or whatever would get our uniform, like the cadets would get ordered uniform for them, right? Like a red t-shirt and the khaki pants and, you know, specific shoes and specific socks and things like that. And the governess group had to wear blue jeans and a white t-shirt, literally like the RPFers that were on the Int Ranch base as well, who are wearing blue pants and white t-shirts. It used to be all black, but then they changed it because there were so many RPFers, I believe, at a certain point that they would just have blue, the things was blue bottoms and white tops. So everybody would have white, you know, hands her way t-shirts, including the cadets, including the children, including the RPFers, including the adults. And it would either be the red shirts or white shirts for children or governess, and either khaki shorts or if you were in the children or the governess group, I believe it was just blue jeans. No, I think it was khaki shorts too. We just weren't allowed to wear Sea Org uniform. We weren't allowed to wear, you know, our Sea Org uniform belt that was gifted to us on Christmas. We weren't allowed to have our Swiss Army knife that was gifted to the elderly cadets on Christmas because we are now in the governess group. Okay, moving on. They may not wear Sea Org uniforms or parts thereof. Children may only go on liberty with the permission of the conning officer and only accompanied by an adult. Children may only go on liberty. That means like have some time off, like for the day, with the permission of the conning officer and only accompanied by an adult. Children must spend at least 10 hours each day studying. Did you hear that? Children must spend at least 10 hours each day studying. They may not roam the ship at large. So they are on a private ship that is not open to the public, and children are on this ship and they are being told you must study 10 hours a day. Out of your 24 hours a day, you're spending 10 hours a day each studying. They may not roam the ship at large. Okay. If a child or these children are found in hold 1 or any hidden compartment of the ship, they are to be locked up. Hello! For all the child abusing lawyers and deniers of people that say L. Ron Hubbard does not lock up or does not say to lock up anybody or any children anywhere. No, that was a very normal thing for L. Ron Hubbard. Lock them in a fucking closet. Lock them up. Lock them up until they get their bank under control and calm down. That was a normal thing. Lock them up. Let them get the bank out. If they're in session, lock the fucking door. If you're going to know that they're going to try to leave, lock it up. When you're mentally controlled in an auditing session or reading policy letters like this for so long, you're not going to think that a door is locked or unlocked. That doesn't matter at a certain point. You're not going to leave a fucking auditing session or leave the organization on your own free will without getting harassed or attacked or manipulated mentally to stay there, let alone physically being fucking held there. They may not wear, okay, where was I? Children may only go on liberty with permission, if the 10 hours a day, if a child or these children are found in hold one or any hidden compartment of the ship, they are to be locked up. Their clothing and substances is paid for by their parents. So these Sea Org parents are getting less than, at this time, less than $47 a week. Okay. So my mom and dad, when I had these moments of love and care, that's partly where some of that came from. They were literally, that's what they could give me as love and care. That's what, that was part of, I would say, Mom, I need underwear. And she'd be like, oh, I got you some new shirts. And I felt like, God, my mom, spent all of her paycheck on this. And she did. And same for my sister. When she had to get her a sports bra, it was like a whole thing. Okay. If a child they have to, so the parents who are the Sea Org members on post, which is why all of this nursery and everything's happening, they have to pay, not the Sea Org money, not the Sea Org, but the parents in the Sea Org need to pay. They're responsible for their clothing. Their clothing and substance is paid for by their parents. They eat together and may not eat with the nursery. They attend school together, but not with the nursery or cadets. So we were eating separately away from everybody, even my own friends in the cadet org. We would be eating on the moon patio outside while the other cadets and the other children that were being called cadets, were inside, in their different dining rooms inside the big main building. It was like we were the out ethics group, the bad group. Keep them separated. Keep them over there. Don't talk to them. Oh, they're on a timeout. They're on 24-hour watch. They're on lockup. Oh, they're not allowed to have sugar. She's not allowed to have this. Like there's just so many rules controlling. But it was all okay because the governess, right? The governess allowed it. Their clothing and substances is paid by their parents. They eat together and may not eat the nursery. They attend school together, but not with the nursery or cadets. So we would have to go sit in the Campbell or in the cottage. They call it the cottage house at the Int Ranch. And we would be in there doing ethics programs and, quote, studying and doing our, whatever studies away from everybody else. It was literally like we were the bad out ethics group, period, all the time. Anyone below 5 or 6, I don't know what that is, to be called little children or babies. Which is so crazy because they literally would be like, well, if you're going to act like a little child, I'm going to call you a little child. The governess is fully responsible for the acts, conduct, and morality of the children. Okay, not the parents, but the governess is fully responsible for the acts, conduct, and morality of the children. Ethics conditions may not be assigned, it should say, to children as they are not part of the Sea Org, of the SO. So they would say that we couldn't be in the governess group if we wanted to get out of the governance group. We would have to do, it would be like, okay, she's working on her lower conditions. She's working on her conditions. And I would have to get through all of these lower conditions and all of these amends and everything to get and then part of that, one of the conditions and liability is you have to get all the other cadets to approve and sign off that you are allowed, you're welcome back into the cadet org. So those are the requirements of not being under this policy letter is when you become a cadet, after you've done all the amends and months of just constant work and rock hauling and fucking de-weeding and fire breaks and scrubbing dumpsters and white gloving this place and all hands on this, and it just didn't end. It was always gruesome fucking work, always something, until you graduated the cadet org, graduated into the cadet org. And then when you become a cadet, everything else is all controlled, and you're in line and you're doing what they tell you to do, and you're wearing the correct uniform, and or you're in trouble. And if you're in trouble, you're doing other things, and we're going to find out about them. Okay. Anyone below 5 is to be called little children or babies. The governess is fully responsible for the acts and conduct of the morality of the children. Ethics conditions may not be assigned to children as they are not part of the ESO. Misdemeanors or crimes by them cause an ethics condition to be assigned to the governess as not keeping them in hand. So not going to lie, I definitely... I one like a few times the governess got in trouble for the governess or the children being out ethics or whatever. And I remember her getting assigned lower conditions. And I remember I was like in the middle of like arguing and going crazy with this person who is like maybe, if you know, 5, 6, 7 years older than me, but was in the cadet org, and she just wasn't educated enough to finish her GED and go, move forward from there. And so they put her as an adult, all of a sudden, because she was 18, they put her as an adult. So I don't know. It felt like weird, and I didn't really respect her as an adult, obviously, at times. And so I definitely was mean to her in ways where I would be like, you're not, I would literally be like yelling at her, like, you're not going to the UPSAT award because you're in lower conditions because of me. Like I would be like so pissed at her. And this is, of course, obviously why she kept saying that's another spanking. And that's oh Lordy. Hi guys. Hi. Sorry. Okay. So, ethics condition, the governance. Okay. So end this right here. The last line, ladies and gentlemen, right here. The governess may spank or discipline children under her care at her own discretion. Right there. That's where my mother said, I no longer have a voice for my own daughter, because L. Ron Hubbard, the Commodore, has written a policy letter in 1968 where he said the governess may spank or discipline children under her care at her own discretion. So my mom read that, came back in to my dorm, and I was like trying to finish any last cleaning or whatever, because I thought I was in trouble. I'm not sure what the consequences were when she went out. Did I interbulate my mom? Am I getting in trouble now? And she showed me that reference, and she said, have you seen this? And I started crying again. And I looked at her in the eyes, and I was like, yes, I've seen this. They've made me read it. I think I said they made me read it 1,000,000 times. So I just remembered in that moment that there was some deep realization between me and my mom at that time that she couldn't help me, and that it would be easier. Another solution, since she can't help me, is why don't you try to just follow orders and try to do it and work on being more ethical. Let's work. She said, let's start at that. Why don't you try to be more ethical? And I was like, I'm fucking trying. And honestly, that right there is when I became, but I was like rebellious a little bit, or whatever you want to call it. toward listening to my mom. And I just lost this like mom respect for her. I don't even mean to say that because that's always there. Even like, and like every time I go to heal, I'm going to heal the love. I'm going to heal, you know, the things that I keep resenting other people for and other relationships that I have because of this stuff that I haven't healed with my mom and dad. And reading these policy letters and these FOs and all these things that were fucking like, you listen to him and you do exactly as L. Ron Hubbard says or else. And it was that. And so like in all, even these references that I'm showing you, it's literally like all the time you're hearing SP, you're hearing interbulated, you're hearing, you know, lock him up, feed him and put him to bed. That's another reference. If a kid is screaming, if a child is screaming and having a tantrum, spank them, lock them up, feed them, put them to bed. It's like pick one of the options. These are the options. So yeah, at that moment, that's when I kind of got into the whole, not got into it. I kind of was already running off and blowing, as they say, blowing. You're going to hear often, which you just heard in that reference as well. But I just started like, well, I mean, to me, that felt like where I lost, like I still loved my mom for sure. Like I was afraid to still upset her. They definitely still used it later on me. Like, oh, we're calling your mom from Gold Base and they're coming out here to get your ethics in. Let me put chapstick on. So they definitely still had that, but I kind of got more, I don't know. I feel like I grew up a little bit in that moment where I was like, fine, if you're not going to stop this, then you're not going to stop me from blowing and you're not going to stop me from the things I care about. Like, I don't know. It was like this weird thing in my mind where I was just like, if I don't have to ask you permission to fucking stop them from spanking me, like for me to be, I don't know, in my kid's mind, I just kind of was like, if this is the worst thing that's been happening to me and my own mom, like maybe my mom, I literally was like, yeah, you know, maybe she's busy at Gold and she doesn't have the energy or the time to deal with me, which is absolutely correct when you're in the Sea Org. And so because of that, I felt like my mom just wasn't as capable as I had thought that she would have been no matter what. And so I started blowing and running off from the ranch and all of that. Okay, so guys, let's move into the next thing. Sorry for all that boring shit. There's a bunch more policies and references that I am going to bring up. I'm going to keep doing this, child abuses, the Sea Org and the ranch trauma. I'm going to keep talking about it. Every fucking day, there's more. I'm writing down all the things that I've been shutting out and just like, it's really just to be like easy to be like, oh, you know, my child trauma. And then when you start breaking things up, you're like, oh my God, I do not want to open this up. That's what it feels like for me, but I have to because I'm ruining other beautiful moments and loving situations and beautiful life adventures because I have all this, you know, in me. Okay, so one thing I want to start with really quick. Here, it's 4 o'clock. Wow, we started at 2. I did pretty good, guys. I didn't do LSD Laura time. Actually, I kind of did a little bit, but it's because I was going to try to show you the German footage, the German reporter footage of German news. They're also on. I should be able to. I should be putting up all these links, but I just haven't had time to do anything. I seriously I was reading all the ATA and the CEO references and I was just like, and reading all those cadets that I knew. And I was like, oh my God, it's already fucking 1 o'clock. Literally anyways, so let's get the first thing I want to get to when we start talking about the ranch, and it's going to break down a bunch of the daily abuses that went on. And obviously I'm going to tell stories in between of certain situations and scenarios that happen so people can really understand the detailed abuses of everything as well. Oh, thank you, Dem. Thank you. Thank you all. If you're still here, thank you so much. So the first thing I would address is I have I have pictures as well, which I want to I'll pull up and bring up whenever I'm talking about a specific thing. Here, I'm going to move my water so I don't spill it in my smoothie. I'm moving the mic away. Hopefully you guys can still hear me, but let me just get these pictures ready. Okay. So I was going to start by pulling up, as you guys know, the Int Ranch Cadet Org out in Hemet, 33755 Casio Canyon School. Let me see if that's still the address. Oh my God. Let's see. And I'm sure that would, I mean, if I'm right, that's just, I mean, I'm not shocked. I'm surprised, but I'm not shocked. 33755 Casio Canyon School, San Jacinto. Yep. 3-hour drive, baby. Saboba Road. Wow. So, yeah, that's the address to the ranch, which we used to do marching drills on the basketball court for hours and hours and hours. And then it got to like marching all around the ranch all the time. And they were like, oh, well, you guys are so good at this. You should just be marching and running wherever you go. So they just had us marching in double time. Oh, instead of them running to the next house or running, they can just be organized in a file march military line going back and forth or wherever they need to go. And it would be ordered like a sergeant, like the military. Anyways, I bring up the basketball court because the first thing I'm going to show you is this tiny little picture of me and this other kid. I think some of you have seen these on. I have to like angle it so my ceiling light doesn't reflect. There we go. So that's me, little Megan Anderson, Lara Megan Anderson. And right there is Ben. Ben Weber is in some other photos that I'm going to send you. Sorry, guys. My hand's all shaky. And that's me. This photo, I think this is one of the youngest photos I have of me being at the Int Ranch. And I believe I had just turned 4 years old. I'm pretty sure I had just turned 4 years old. And Ben Weber literally has the same age as me, or maybe was just a year older. But that was us at the Int Ranch. Now, I'm bringing this up because of the basketball court. Okay. The red in the I'm just letting your guys' brains get familiar with my life. Okay. So let's bring up this, the website that Scientology has for Casio Canyon School, and how they have this whole PR website that's made to look like, if anybody ever researches Casio Canyon School or the Int Ranch or whatever, and they happen to go to, if they go deep, they would click on this video and get to their site. So if you go to, I actually have it pulled up here. Let me share it with you. If you go to Casio Canyon, and I'm wondering, I mean, I'll say it after once I'm done sharing, but here, present, share screen. Okay, so you go to Casio you go to Casio Canyon School. This is CasioCanyonSchool.org. Okay. This is the front gate. For those of you, this outlining right here that says Casio Canyon School, this gate above here, this wasn't here for many, many years. This was here near the end of the years of the ranch. Okay. Also, just be very, I want you guys to be very aware of the background. In the background here, you see how the mountains are nice and green and everything looks all lavish and green. And look at, you know, okay, we're on the home page. So this was the big house, the ranch. This was the main building. This is where we'd be doing all those musters and everything right here in front of the building. This guy's name here is Ellis, Stuart Ellis. He has a brother named Zachary Ellis. And behind him, hey, get back. Let me go back to that. Behind him, you see Brian Shimmerhorn and his little brother, Jordan Shimmerhorn. Jared Shimmerhorn was at the Pack Ranch. Okay. Remember that KR in 96 that they were saying about the kids, all the cadets that I just read about? That's who those kids are right there. Those are the brothers, the smaller brother, the smallest, Jordan Shimmerhorn and Brian Shimmerhorn. Okay. So I'm just showing you guys this is signed, but these are pictures that I don't even have. I'm not allowed to have these pictures, right? Where are these photos? There were millions. I swear there were thousands and thousands of photos of kids at the Int Ranch, of us doing all these PR shoots of all the vegetables and all the fields and all the work. Literally thousands of photos. Dee Dee Carlson, if you're out in the world, please message me. I need to get a hold of you. I understand that you probably don't want to get involved in all of this, but please, if you want it to be private, I will keep it private for now. I'm just kidding. I just know that Dee Dee Carlson, she really was an animal lover. She was more in charge of all of the plants and the gardening and everything going on at the whole ranch. She was in charge. She loved the animals as well. So she wasn't really an adult that was like running the kids directly, but she was definitely in charge of, she was like kind of, yeah, in charge of the estates over the garden and provender side of things. Gardening and provender. Anyways, so Dee Dee Carlson, I know you were obsessed with photography, just like my mother, Diane Anderson. Oh my God, I hope you guys, can you guys hear me okay? I'm pretty loud anyways. I just didn't move the mic back, but I don't want to because it's going to be in my way. So let me know really quick if you guys can hear me, and this is fine anyways. That area is a very remote. The town of Hemet is many miles away. Yes. Yes, we can hear you. Okay, good. Perfect. Okay. So, okay, so let's go through this. This is just my view of how I see this. They green everything up, guys. Like all the greenery around here, make it look so fun. And look at all these pictures with all, but now let's break down all these PR photos. This is what I call them. I feel like my whole life, childhood, was just all PR photos, either done by Dee Dee Carlson at the Int Ranch, who her and Barbara Tompkins, I believe, were really into photography. They both got really, I remember them having some fancy ass fucking cameras, including my mom. I love photography. Look at me now. I love photography and I love film and so I get it. But these were three adults that were big, or big structure, like big, they were like the women, the teachers of my childhood. Right. And they all love photography. So to me, this feels very, to me, this seems so clear. Like this is such bullshit, but I have to explain why this is such fake PR bullshit compared to what actually happened at this ranch. The ranch, also known as Castillo Canyon School. Okay, so again, let's go through these photos. This building here is called the main building, the big house, the main house. That's Stuart Ellis, Brian Shimmerhorn, or whoever. I'm assuming it's Brian. I could be wrong, but this is definitely Jordan Shimmerhorn. Here we have Ariella Coleman. She's used a lot because she still, to this day, hasn't spoken out about Scientology, and she won't because her family is in OSA and her parents are still executives and her brother is at Gold Base. Power Coleman, hate to say this, buddy, but you got to confront the fact that you were molesting, you were touching children when you were also a minor. But you were touching children. Ariella Coleman, you know about this. Ariella Coleman, you know about a lot of child abuse that happened at this Int Ranch, Castillo Canyon School. Ariella Coleman. You were a little child. You were the commanding officer, the CO cadets. Okay, so this is Jane Thompson, by the way. And so, yes, Dee Dee Carlson, if you are out there and you're listening to this, or if there's somebody listening right now and you know her and you know you can get in touch with her through Facebook or whatever it is, or send me a way that I can get a hold of her, I will do it with the most loving and healing way of communication that I can. And I just would like to get images, the pictures, more pictures of the Int Ranch to show more evidence really of all the work and the detailed stuff that happened, that went down. There's Ariella Coleman again. Okay, let's go through these pictures. They're going to be kind of fast, I think. But so this is them putting up this BS website. Okay, so we have the ranch. That's the main building. There's some cadets. There's some other fake cadets. I don't, is this Jenna Miscavige? I don't know. It could be either Jenna, because I know she was a little bit younger than Ariella. Anyways, it either is Jenna or it could be Jessica Englehart. I'm just not sure. Or it could be, I mean, gosh, it could be anybody. It could, yeah. Okay, so this one here, this is Trisha. Look at these, the vegetables here, guys. This is all done by the kids, all the children, all the cadets, all the painting on the building, making sure all the, you know, the planters, everything here, these rock walls, all done by the cadets. Whoa, back it up, Laura. All done by the cadets. Sorry, let's go back to that. All the rock walls here, you see down below. Oh, you can't. We'll see them in other pictures. They're all over the Int Ranch property. They were all done and made by minors, all made and done by cadets. So this website literally is just full of BS bullshit. Like, look at how amazing it was. Organic gardens. Yes, that is true. They were definitely fucking organic. Okay, let's go to, sorry, I keep spinning this around. Home. Let's see. What did we do? About. So that's about. Casio Canyon School was, oh, I don't know if you guys noticed this. I read all this in my way earlier streams, but Casio Canyon School, you can see here, was located in the foothills of the San Jacinto Mountains, 3 miles east of the city of San Jacinto, 40 miles from Palm Springs and Big Bear, and 100 miles southeast of Los Angeles. It was on 478 acres of land. Okay. So when a child blows, as they say, or runs off or runs away, that's what you guys have to keep in mind. 478 acres of land, of which 15 acres comprise the school campus. Okay. Let's go. Why doesn't it let me? It just, that's it. Learn more. Should I learn more? It just, what does it do? Learn more. Nothing. This is where you get it. The facility has a rich history of educating youth for over 50 years, first by the Catholic Church, then as an all-boys Christian school, and then used by the Church of Scientology. The school was closed in 2000. That's when we were all shipped off to the different organizations, all the kids, and sold to the Saboba Band of the Louisiana. Oh, this is the Indians. Saboba Band of the Louisiano Indians. I hope I'm saying that right. Louisiano Indians. Click here to read the history of Casio Canyon School. So yeah, you guys can go there and click on it. I want to get to this other stuff. If you want to read more about that, I want to get to these stories, right? These BS stories, learn more. Let's learn more about these stories. Student stories. Student, why are they not putting cadets from the Sea Organization? From 1990 until 2000. Basically, I just want to read you some of these because this is such fucking horseshit. And maybe I need to hold off reading these so I can break them down later. But let's just do a few really quickly. From 1990 until 2000, Casio Canyon Ranch housed a boarding school for the children of the senior clergy. At least they were sort of being truthful about that. The senior clergy of the Church of Scientology International. Alumni and friends of the school look back fondly at the days they spent at Casio Canyon on the shoulder of Mount San Jacinto. Are we sure about that? That's not what I've heard from multiple people, but let's just name a few. We got Jesse Prince. We got Amy Scobie. We got a bunch of all the RPFers that were ever sent to the ranch, Casio Canyon School. Is that what you mean about housing and boarding school for the children of the senior clergy of the Church of Scientology? Okay. This is so, like, I literally am getting a stomachache reading all this. Okay. Education. As a result of my education at the ranch as an adult, I continue to study and learn subjects. For example, I have studied chemistry for use at my job. Really? Really? Who is this? The point is having a practical what do you mean the point is? The point is having a practical background and education on how to learn. Having a practical background and education on how to learn studying subjects like this is easy and fun. So you had a practical background on education. I am very fortunate to have the ranch part of my formative years. It gave me an extroverting, I think that's like a Scientology word, but it gave me an extroverting place to engage in a range of activities while learning important lessons of life. I guess we could say we learned important lessons of life. I mean, I'm here now, right? I wouldn't say it was from Scientology. Going to a ranch, listen to this bullshit. Going to a ranch for an education and molding into a productive member of a desirable cause, why not say the Sea Org, was a blessing. I've never done a street drug in my life. There were no drugs there, and there was no crime. BOH, that is Brendan O'Hare. So remember, I'm always going to remember the initials most of the time. Oh, look, JG. Okay. Josh Gillian. That would either be Josh Gillian, JG initials right here, Josh Gillian or Josh Gilbert. Basically, all our uniforms were marked with a Sharpie on the tag or on the socks even. Even our socks. Everything was marked because everybody was like always using and wearing up fucking their clothes from working so much all the time that it was like constantly, I was always like, Mom, I got to get new shirts. Mom, I got in trouble for the stain. Mom, it was always like, it felt like such a burden to just be like, I can't even keep my shirt white, or I can't, you know, certain things. But anyways, so my sister was the services sec and was in charge of folding laundry, doing a lot of the laundry for a while for all the kids in the cadet org. So I would help her fold laundry all the time because they'd be like, you know what, go help out in laundry. Go do this, go do that. They're like, put her to work. She does better when she works. Anyways, but everybody knew everybody's initials and names because they would also drill us in training drills that would be one of the routines would be like, you know, line up from initials, from, you know, A to Z. Start. And so we'd all have to know everybody's initials and names. So that's Brendan O'Hare. This one down here is probably Josh Gillian or Josh Gilbert. The education, see how they're always talking about education and how great it was, because that's what they're being hit with so hard, and not hard enough, not even nearly hard enough. They're being hit with like the non-education, the slave labor, and none of that. They don't bring up any of the work or anything like that. They just bring up how great it is and that they've never done drugs, street drug in their life. Okay. The education I received while at the ranch taught me problem solving and gave me the ability to arrive at solutions based on observations and logical reasoning. This has helped me immensely in the tasks required to be successful in my adult life. Do you mean in the Sea Org at Gold Base, Josh Gillian or Josh Gilbert? Jesse Gillian, was it? Or what? Oh yeah, Josh Gilbert and Jesse Gillian. Josh Gilbert and Jesse Gilbert are brothers, and they both have the same initials. So it could also be Jesse Gilbert. Okay, who's this? TH. Tim Hines or Tara Harris or TH. I am a strong, independent adult because of what I learned and did at the ranch. We learned reading, writing, math, history, and other subjects for what, 5 seconds a day. In this education, we learned Shakespeare, yeah, and we're required to memorize the Exvian sonnet. I don't even know what that is. We went to plays and musicals, among which were Fiddler on the Roof, didn't go. A Midnight Summer's Dream, didn't go. Swan Lake, didn't go. Camelot with Robert, these are treated, I didn't go. There was one that I did finally get to go to. I believe it was Don Quixote, or like a play of Don Quixote. So maybe one of these were that play. But that's the only one that I went to, that I remember even to this day. It is I, Don Quixote, the Lord of La Mancha. Oh, my God. Okay. Moving forward. Literally, I don't even know half of these things, which is sad because I'm sure they're probably all really cool plays and stuff like that. Camelot and nope, I don't know. Oklahoma, Macbeth, and West Side Story, to name a few. This is so bullshit. We also went to museums, Joshua Tree National Park. They probably were like, pull up the receipts from the ranch. How many, they're like, when did we have to put gas in the bus? Oh my God. I currently find that we studied and learned history, geography, science, and social studies. Why do they have to repeat the same thing in the sentence? Like up here, they're right. Reading, writing, math, history, and other stuff. Why do you repeat that? If your history and writing and reading and education is so good, why are you writing it again? I currently find that due to my education at the ranch, I am more well-read and well-versed than many of my contemporaries who attended public and private schools in the United States. Whoever this is. Okay. Either Tim Hines or Tara Harris. Who else has TH? I'm sure I'm sure. I'm just not remembering right now. Okay. Well, I don't even want to read all these, but this is disgusting. These are just bullshit stories. With all the experience and friends I grew up with, I would not choose an alternative to what I had at the ranch. I would not choose it any other way. Oh, Duncan Alsop. I wonder if that's Duncan Alsop, DA. Okay, living at the ranch gave me knowledge and experience beyond academic knowledge that I use to this day. You mean beyond the normal studies you did because you were only freaking doing Scientology studies? I am a computer technician now, but all the different things you learn from, such as an environment, are still with me, and I consider it a privilege to have been able to learn so much. Whatever. Learn, I guess. Okay, anyways, if you guys want to read this is literally all, again, Brendan O'Hare. Repetitive, same stuff. Okay, let's go to video. So there used to be a video here, guys, right here. This is you can see the thumbnail. And it won't play. Why won't it play? There's no video. Guys, there's no video. They took down the video of Brian and Ariella Coleman, this chick who was that chick earlier in the photo. I told you was the commanding officer, and her brother was touching kids underage as well. And a lot of other cadets as well, too. Ryan Murphy, Josh Gilbert, Jesse Gilbert, Josh Gillian. Should we just name every freaking person at the ranch doing this? This was a normal thing. These abuses were like, oh, I'll just write it up and it's an overt on my next overts or whatever it was. It was all handled in Scientology. So there's a picture of the front gate. The bullshit. Look, there's over here. I shown this earlier, but in one of my other videos where I'm talking about the ranch, but there's a code box here. And that's the only way you can get the gate to open, or security would open it from the security booth way on the property. And there's also later on a security booth put up here on top of the sports field at the end, so that they were going to set up a whole security system there. And then obviously things changed and the kids then got shoved off to all the organizations. Okay. This is when you're driving up. Again, all the kids are doing all this work. Each one of these red apple plants we put in, we had to poke holes in all these. They're not very clear. That's why it would be great if we could have those professional photos from Dee Dee Carlson or my mother or Barbara Tompkins or anybody who has any pictures of the Int Ranch. That would be great. But you see, they put all this greenery and all this stuff This is the top view from the creek. I've definitely been up here on the top of the hill. You can see the creek down here a bit. I used to run in this creek all the time and just climb and go all the way up. All the way up. They would call it we would go to, they say, are you going to blow? She probably went to the 13th waterfall. Okay, this is a view actually from, this is a view from like Saboba, from the Indian property, like right, probably still on our property, but looking down at that main house, the big house where I said earlier, or at the beginning, where we would be mustering and everything. That's the main house right there. So look at all the land all around it. All this was all run and taken care of by the children and the cadets and the governess, all the kids in the freaking governess group and the RPFers who later came onto the property. All of this and this greenery and how it looks so green is not how it is. It's Hemet. It's the desert. Like real talk. I feel like I need to show, okay, so look, let's go to this picture. Actually, this is why I wanted to bring up, there's this, why are we not seeing the basketball picture? Did I already pass it? Hold on. Because that's where I was showing you the basketball. Okay, this is the ballet room at the Campbell house that none of the cadets after this, okay, I'm like all over the place. This uniform, these cadet red uniforms, and look, even the khaki socks were all like when I guess the older Mike Brown, those, you know, those kind of days when the older cadets that were obviously young at one point at the ranch grew up, they all go to Gold Base or they get their GED and then they get shipped off to join the Sea Org. This here, I believe, is Heather Stanton or something, or Heather Ashworth. Yeah, Heather Ashworth. And this, I believe, is Stacy or Stanton. I don't know. I remember her name, and I'm sure somebody in the chat or watching this later will be like, yep, I know her. So this was a picture, a PR photo taken at the beginning years of the ranch. This was like 1993, kind of like 1994, 5 days, really, not even like, so this was the ballet room at the Campbell house that only security and adults were allowed to be at. And if you went over there, you would be locked up, as they say, right? Because you're not supposed to be on security property. So, okay, this is my sister, by the way. And I wonder if this literal photo, it was taken by my mom on her obsessed camera that she's obsessed with. This is Lena, or yeah, Lena, I forget her last name. Lena Huber. No. Anyways, and so we were only allowed to use this pool, by the way, the kids and Casavius Tabio, and you know all about this. We would be the ones cleaning this pool. It was out PR for other people to come on to the ranch or fly over the ranch and have a dirty pool, and it would show that the kids weren't using it as well. It would be out PR. So we would make sure that this pool was clean and kept clean all the time. It was literally a job, a reward for a cadet to go and scrub the pool, to clean the pool and keep it clean once every 2 weeks or whatever it was, or more when it would get really bad. This is the ranch. Look at where's all those green photos? There's just so much okay, this is another weird thing that you literally have pictures of my sister and my dad right here. There's my dad with his Stormbuster shirt. Look, I'm going to show you guys something really quick. Hold on. Stop sharing. Stop screen. Look at this. Okay, so I didn't even show the basketball. Okay, we'll get there. There's so much, guys. Okay, let me show you this. What picture was I just showing you? Oh, the horse area. I mean, like, even our PR photos were BS. I feel like I just can pull out all of this. All the PR photos, you can tell, like, the amount. like when we had to take PR photos, I've shown this before, but when we had to take PR photos, we had to be completely in uniform. We had to be completely upstat and looking, you know, happy and good PR photos and cute, right? We had our khaki socks, our black shoes, our khaki shorts, our red shirts, and look at me violating the Scientology child law, wearing pink glasses, mixing uniform, mixing civvies with uniform, not okay. But they also wanted us to look cute and like not so washed out. Like I remember putting on these uniforms and being like, whoa, we look so fresh and like clean. And wow, are we going to be able to keep these after? They're like, no, this is your upstat uniform. You wear your deck clothes later. Okay, but that's not even what I was going to show you. I was going to show you my dad. Remember that photo I just of my sister there on their website? Let me show you. Oh my God, it's just so many photos. I also want to pull this one out. Sorry, guys. Give me a minute. Okay. Oh, look at our prestige uniforms. That's the photo I have on the thumbnail. That's me and my sister, and we're literally on the sports field in the mezzanine, the meditation path in the oak tree that my mom would be like, always like, let's go here and go on a walk to the meditation path. She doesn't sound like that, but yeah. So I had to look all cute and upstat and uptone. I can't be caught not uptone in the photo, right? My mom wouldn't allow it. She literally would be like, that's degrading. Or that, honey, you look like a DB. She literally would say that. You look like a DB. Okay, so that picture, for example, with that horse and from the website, this is another parent right here. That's me on the horse. But what I'm trying to get at, this is so hard, is this parent right here. That is another kid's parent, and they're literally in uniform because they're only going to be seeing Stefan Mazaran. Those are the Mazarans. That's Stefan's mom. I forget their parents' name, but I know that they were like French or something like that. And that's Loretta, the horse. But this is the only time when we're allowed to be hanging out and being with these horses and being with the animals is if we're approved, if we have liberty, time off, approved time off to be there, to be with our parents even. Okay. Hold on. Where is that picture of my dad? Let me get it. Oh, God, guys, this is way harder than I thought. I mean, yeah, it's like pissing me off, but making me feel better, but also making me fucking, yeah, just bringing up stuff. This is my father with the horses and my sister, and back behind there is Christina Webster, another cadet. But during the 2 hours, we would literally only have a certain amount of time, or if my dad had the day off, that's when I went. Those are the only times we were allowed to be with the animals without permission, or like without, you know, with our parents' choice. There's my dad with his Stormbuster hat. I mean, shirt. And with the hat I got him years ago at the ranch, best dad award hat or whatever. Clearly not quite. I guess he was the best dad he could be. I gotta put ourselves, everybody has to, you don't have to do shit, but to have that perspective of understanding another person's life, you know? My mom was like, okay, we got to get our PR photo. That's in the cactus, literally at the Int Ranch. All these photos are just in the cactus in the mezzanine. Anyway, so yeah, it's weird literally seeing my sister on the Castile Canyon, you know, org thing. And I just can throw all this away. It's just weird. It's fucking weird. And how PR'd it is. Like, oh, look at these photos and look at the org. Like, that's so Scientology. That's all Scientology does is fucking PR the shit out of everything. And they call it PR instead of cover up or denial or lying, literally, or altering the truth. Okay. Remember those pictures, you know, of, oh, being in the greenhouses and all that. This is me and my mom doing our version of family, you know. Come on. She's like, come on, Megs. We got to get a good PR photo. I want our family to see all the farming and gardening you're doing. You know, this is great work. She would be so, and look at me. I'm like, I'm right there with my white shirt and the blue pants, blue jeans. Cause I gotta be ready for work. Got to be ready in uniform, my governess uniform. So that's just one picture, but my mom has to go out of her way to make sure she takes a bunch of pictures of, oh, and let's take one of talking to the plants. And you know what I just remembered? She was showing me also at this time how to do self-portraits on her camera. And I actually took a picture of her. She let me hold the camera and take a picture of her. Okay, so yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. I was going to show you on the CastilleCanyon.org BS website. It always shows all the mountains all green and everything's so green. No, the fucking place was hot. It was dry. Everything, anytime we wanted green grass or vegetables, we had to literally put in the irrigation and put in the water supply to make that happen. That was us having on the day off, on our, not day off. See, my sister's still in uniform. This is when she would go back with the parents to the gold base to work on the quantum e-meters. We're playing volleyball for the 2 hours. And all the parents were there watching with us on the side. I believe in this picture, it's Louis Nunn, Ryden Arbuckle, me, my sister, and Casper Peter Squeers. Casper! And Alex Nunn, of course. R.I.P. Alex, I love you. So we'll get to that as well. There's a bunch of people that I'm going to bring up constantly. Ooh, Tabby, you interrupted me, but I saw the QQQ and I was like, question! I didn't even look. Question, Laura, can you share why you speak so much more about your dad than your mom and siblings? Was it just a deeper connection to your dad than others in your immediate family? I have often wondered. Okay, this is what's fucked up. I always loved my mom and dad. I mean, evenly. I always have my own love for them. That's even as a quote child or whatever. In whatever way I was allowed to view them and love them, I did. I really, you know, all their little moments of love. I really did feel that. First, I feel that recently because the last 10 years, I got declared excommunicated, declared an SP, maybe 7 years ago now. And before that, during all that time and before that, my dad was the one who was put in charge to handle me. This word, handle, fix, handle, change, fix, handle. Get a handle on it, Laura. Get it done. So because my mother is literally needed and protected by David Miscavige to do her job at Gold Base, I don't have access as much to her in the way that, like, even to go out and protest Golden Era Productions and try to get her attention or anything. It's a lot. You can barely be even out. Like, there's such a small passage and an area to even be able to walk outside of gold-based property. The other thing, though, is, as we were talking about in this, my mother was obsessed with the camera. So a lot of the times she was taking all the pictures. And so it would be like a lot of the times I'm, you know, in photos with my dad, you know, that my mother is taking. And, oh, here we go, guys. I just want you to know the basketball court. That's the basketball court right there. That's my whole well, there, my mom's probably again taking this picture. And you have my dad, me, my brother, and sister all playing basketball at the ranch on that basketball. Look at how run down that basketball court is. They had to paint it at least 5 times when I was there. But it's not from playing games. It's not all from, you know, having fun at basketball. It's from marching, from doing, they would call 11s to the rear. We would literally be marching 11 feet and all as a group, 10 of us in a row, 11s to the rear. And they would, they'd yell out, forward march. And we'd start marching left, right, and count in our minds, not out loud, 11s to the rear. Every time we'd land on 11 on the foot, we do to the rear, and everybody had to be linked up. And we would be doing that for hours on end. They would say, this is a group punishment because so-and-so didn't da-da-da-da. And I would be like, God, I'd get mad at somebody. And then we would be marching for an hour or more because anytime somebody messed up, the hour would restart. So we would have to get 11s to the rear. 11, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to the rear. 1, 2, left, and stay left, marching exactly for an hour straight. Okay, so before I get sidetracked, Tabitha, thank you. That was a very good question. Those are just the 2 things mainly that I can describe. Other than that, I loved sports. I loved animals. My mom was like literally an editor. She's at the editing librarian. She would be with all her VHSs in her closet and all, you know, her mind at Gold Base is on that job. Anytime she wasn't thinking about that job, she was thinking about her children. I would say that. My mom is also not the person to address things and confront them and like discuss them and talk about it all the way through. She has that bad habit, that bad behavior from her past before joining Scientology, and then learning it through Scientology to, you know, throw it under the rug or use Scientology auditing to help it. And it'll be as is, then you're fine. But through her whole ballet career as a ballet dancer, which I was obsessed with as a child, the moment she showed me her ballet pictures, I couldn't fucking believe my eyes. It was just insane. So that's a very good question. Yeah, it's such an overwhelming question. It brings me all the way to my mom's feels. And that's very interesting, Tabby. I didn't even realize I talk so much more about my father. And I do believe that I had a different connection with my dad because he loved sports and he liked doing all those things. His mom loved music. His mother, my grandma, Grandma Linda, she was a tap dancer and a singer, you know, and she still was doing that until she passed away, even while my dad was in the Sea Org. And she was in Canada off in her own life. So my dad was around music. His sister did music. His sister, I believe, is still a teacher somewhere in Canada. I would love to get to know my aunt, please. Aunt Judy. So yeah, what I'm getting to is my dad had opportunities where he had some sort of a normal life resemblance around in his younger years before he got into Scientology and all that in Canada with his own family. He was able to do weird, fun things and go to his boarding school and be bad or be a rebellious child or whatever it is, right? So my dad was able to tell me more about that. When I would get in trouble at the Int Ranch, they would call my father. They would have my father handle me first. It was always my dad. because my dad was on a post or a position where he was able to be more flexible to handle me, handle my ARC break, handle the, you know, whatever it is. And so, yeah, I love my mom very much. Literally, I'm staring at this picture of my mom that I took on her camera with the goat, Lucy, that my father got me, or got himself, because he wasn't allowed to get me a goat because the cadets were not allowed to have toys or fun things. Just, if they're not here, if you're not on purpose in the Sea Org, then you're not here, you know. Okay. That was my mom. I took this picture at the motels, in front of the motels at the ranch, which you see in some of the photos online. And also, oh, Kirby's mom, you say baby goats, but I have a really, something we didn't talk about. One thing I didn't talk about in my dad's video was what happened to Lucy, Ethel, and all of her babies. What happened to the goats at the Int Ranch when we all were shipped off to Clearwater. Remember, we'll get into it when we get into it, but I feel like we've gone almost 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 3 hours, guys. So I do want to take a break after this and answer a bunch of questions, and then we can wrap it up for this one. And then I'll come back. We'll do this again the next time I'm reset and have energy. I'm also going to be doing a bunch more of these live streams and talking about this. And I want to do it when I feel something come up or something that I really want to talk about or address. I don't want there to be any holdback on my end in terms of being able to communicate and say what I want to heal and what I want to fix. And again, definitely going to be when I'm addressing my trauma or dealing with my trauma or doing therapy or anything like that, I'm going to keep the alcohol out of it so that in that moment I can really be there in that moment, because that is where I can stare at a problem all day long. And basically the alcohol in these moments of when I'm dealing with my trauma, it triggers me. It doesn't allow me to feel what I need to feel to be able to heal from it and then move forward from it. Yeah, a lot of these things also are hard to look at and hold on to and talk about because there's so much surrounding, even, for example, the goats. I'm going to tell you about this story about the goats. My friend, Lucy. Oh, sorry, Fox. I love you so much. She didn't even wake up. I just totally banged her head and she didn't even wake up. She was like, oh yeah. Sorry. This is a sad one, guys. Be prepared. That's Lucy when she was a baby. Okay. My mom was like, smile, come on. And I was like, I was annoyed or something. And I was like, fine. And I smiled really big. And she was like, oh, come on. That's 1-1. She literally was like, come on, that's 1-1. And I was like, I was like offended. Like, God, Mom, what a harsh word to call me. 1-1. 1-1 is like gay people and backstabbers. I'm so 1-1 with a fake smile. Why? Because I was being fake. Okay, well, this was a cute moment she took. Lucy was my, like, yeah. So when my dad talks about, oh, you know, I got her a goat, the amount of restrictions and the amount of punishments they would use against me for this goat. Oh my God. I just love the goat. Okay. So anyways, let's get back to, I wanted to show you here before I tell you this story. So I loved the goats. I loved the horses. They would say, oh, she kept blowing from the course room all the time. I would literally run down, hide. I would sneak down to the animal area without anybody knowing. And then I would be there with the horses and with my goats and just doing everything with them. And then I would run off before Kimberly Alcock or one of the other cadets would come that were actually in charge, the animals I see. So they were supposed to be the ones taking care of the animals. But I was like, no, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So I had Lucy, guys. Lucy was at the Int Ranch. That's me. And this photo was taken by my mother, not even maybe like 6 months before we were all shipped off to Clearwater, Florida, and to the different bases. That right there, where I'm sticking my butt, that's Lucy when she's all grown up. I have a bunch of other photos of her as well. But you can see her right here. Up, right there. Oh my God, this is so hard. It does it backwards. Okay, right there. That's Lucy. And then behind her, the other goat is Ethel. And she had her babies. Lucy had babies at this time. They're smaller ones. Oh, here, let me show you actually this was a picture my mom took of me from inside the big warehouse, standing outside of the goat pen. You see all the goats. You see Lucy, Ethel, and her babies. There's some on the side there. So during the month that they were shipping us all off to Clearwater, Florida, and, or to ship us off, shipping the cadets from the Int Ranch Cadet Org, after being there, some of them for 10 years more. I was there for almost 11 years. They had us doing sec checking and interrogation. And at this time, the cadets were so excited. Me personally, I was kind of excited about leaving the ranch to go to the outside world. And I knew it was to be in the Sea Org at Flag, but to me, that was so exciting. It was so exciting to go somewhere else other than the ranch. And like, I had been like getting my ethics in more, between those last 6 months before they started saying, okay, everybody, that we even knew we were getting shipped off to go join the Sea Org. So there was a good 2 to 3 weeks where they had us just constantly writing our overts and withholds up. They had us doing our security check clearances. They were having us sign all these bond papers, which I don't even remember because they were so hypnotic and like we didn't understand what they meant or did. We didn't understand why we were having to sign anything. They also got rid of a bunch of our pictures, which is why I'm so picky kind of about the pictures that I do have left, even though it's just a shitty picture of me and Lucy and the goats. To me, that's so important. Because I went through so much mental suffering, and I found a lot of my joy and understanding came through animals. Because that same situation where I felt like I can't talk or say something the way that I mean to say it, when I'm like drinking and I mean to say something and it comes out fucking completely different. I just felt like, again, I would always get in trouble or whatever. So I never wanted to really say how I felt. Anyways, so I had my connection very deeply with these goats. Lucy, obviously, you guys know the story. Even my dad, who's supposed to be talking bad about me on that latest video, he like, oh, I got her a goat. And that was such an exciting thing for me in my life. And then I remember getting all approved to go to Flag. And it was like so draining because they had us do a, what do they call it? A petition. I think it's called a petition. No. Somebody in the chat, if you know, what is it called when David Miscavige like forgives you for everything? If amnesty. So they were having all the cadets do an amnesty, which means that they had to write every single overt, sim, withhold, anything they had ever done, ever, that they, even if they had previously written it up and they had gotten it off, they wanted everybody to write everything they had ever done bad over again, basically their whole life history of overts and withholds. And this amnesty was gonna, if you got all your overts off and you said everything, then this amnesty was going to basically forgive you for everything. So in the middle of doing all this and working so hard to like make sure that I can get approved for whatever, we don't even know where we're going or what we're doing. We just know that we're getting prepped and prepared to be shipped off. And I totally forgot about a lot of this because it was so intense. And my mind at the time was being forced to be on something else. We were being forced to pay attention. Okay, you're going to Clearwater. You better be prepared. You're joining the outside Sea Org. You know, you guys are the future executives. You better not let us down. You're going, you know. So when they announced, it was like 3 days, not even, maybe 2 days before I was all packed up, ready to go to Clearwater. I had all my sec checks approved, everything. I was all, I had my clearance to go, to leave. And one of the other cadets told me, out of nowhere, and she wasn't supposed to tell me. She said, Lucy's dead. She said, come here, I have to tell you something. Lucy's dead. And I was like, what? And she was like, shh. And then she said, come here, let's go. Quick. Because we don't have muster. Until like once we saw 10, 15 minutes before muster. Oh my God, I was so mad. So we go running down because I'm like, what? And I'm like, still trying to process, Lucy's dead? What does that mean? And I even thought that, I was like, what, did Martin Habscheit, the German guy, shoot her? Because he did that. I'll tell you another time, but I just didn't know. And then we went down there in the greenhouse. The goats were supposed to have been on all those green, beautiful mountains, eating the grass and free ranging with the horses. But because everybody was so caught up in all the sec checking and the approval and closing up the ranch and getting everything done, the animals were just abandoned. And somebody didn't take them off of the rope in the greenhouses, and we walked up and the bones of the goats and her babies and everything were all eaten. And the heads were hanging from the poles because they had run the coyotes had eaten them in the night when they didn't get unleashed to freely roam. And that's what we came up to. And then the next thing I heard was, Megan, Kimberly, get back here. And it was an adult. I think it was like Casavius.
or Martin or somebody, and they said, get back here. We're handling this. And I think I yelled, you killed them. You should have let them go. They should have been off the rope. And so I go running back because they said, you need to go back. And there's this big buzz. Everybody's buzzing. Oh, what happened? And we're not allowed to say anything. The cadet, Kim's looking at me like, don't say anything. Like, you're not allowed to say anything. And we were just approved to be able to go, and that we were strong enough and adult enough to not have these crazy emotions, and that we were like all ready to go to flag. They announced and told me and my sister were approved to go to flag. And just in that moment they told me, knock off the bank. Do you need a session? We can get you a session if you need a session. But this is not how you handle this. You knock off the bank. They said one of the Sea Org executives said, "What are you going to flag? They're not going to accept this behavior at flag." And I was like, "No, sir, no, sir." And I had to force myself to not think about it, not care. And then I did. I was so distracted with going to the new world and going to Clearwater and getting on the plane that I just had to forget about it all. Dad. So there's your answer to the goats. To Lucy, and that you got me a goat. I cannot get that image out of my head. And that's just one of it. I don't know what to do, guys. I feel like I don't want to end it here because now I just feel like I'm leaving it on a bad note, but this is me and my sister on the big horse, Loretta, the giraffe horse. And the goats, before they were moved down to the fields, you know, they were trying to make the goats like a profit. They were like, oh, well, look, we can make the goats, because we were milking the goats for goat milk, and so all of a sudden they became like a profit or something valuable, like something that we would be harvesting. So they were moved down to the fields under the responsibility of the harvester, the provenders, the adults that ran all of the harvesting, which was Kasavius, Mr. Tabioyan, Michael Przybylski, and Martin Hobscheit. And then they had people below that. Oh, well, and Dee Dee Carlson, she definitely was. But I feel like I keep wanting to say Mr. Tab. I feel like he was the one running us the most. After a while, it was like him. You know, all the adults would switch up. Is Michael related to Dan P? Oh, Michael, no. That Michael Przybylski was a name given to Kasavius Tabioyan, because Dan Przybylski, who was the ranch IC, who you guys have seen in MD Media's Faces of Scientology posts, but he was basically legally given a new name and being was under, like, his guardian basically was Dan Probilski, his legal guardian, so that Kasavius Tabioyan was separated from his parents that were declared, and Dave Miscavige was keeping him away from his own parents. So no, they're two different people, but they were trying to hide Kasavius Tabioyan, so they named him legally at one point Michael, I think Michael Probilski Jr. So that's why I kind of threw that in there. So yeah, yeah. I think that was a hard one for me, but that was also something that, like, that was just one of the moments that, you know, through all of this, all of the slow abuse and the slow things where, like, extreme things emotionally happen, and TRs or this was put as, like, this is the solution, this is how you handle it. So it's very, I can see that it's very easy for me to get triggered or to fall into an old behavior because of something like this triggering me. And it's very valid. That's the fucked up thing, is that it's very valid. So I want to figure out, you know, better ways to release it and cope with it. And I'm doing that. And I feel really good about this stream, even though it was a little everywhere in the beginning. But maybe if I have more energy, I kind of want to go do a little quick protest. It's 5:09 right now here in Los Angeles. Kind of want to go do a quick protest and film those elderly coming off the bus at 8 o'clock. But I'll see how my energy is. I'll see how I feel, and then go from there. I'm going to stick to answering questions and all that, because I don't like doing a whole stream like this. And then there's so many questions that I end up spending the next stream answering all the questions. So quickly, if there's any questions that you guys now know I haven't answered that you still might want me to answer or whatever, let me know. Until then, I'm going to pop up these. Thank you guys so much. Kirby's mom, thank you, honey. You're member for 7 months. I can't believe we've been doing this for so long. That's so long. To me, that's like crazy. And also just, yeah, I never thought I would be doing this. I just never thought this is how I was going to be fucking exposing and taking down Scientology. Thank you, Tazzy D. You got this, Laura, your choice, the time and place. Correct. And it has to be. Otherwise nobody learns. It has to be. Oh, Super Pup Erica. Wow. You have helped me so much. Self-care, #1. Yes. Feel your feels. You are loved. Thank you, Erica. Mindy Candy, you inspire me to face my own trauma. Sending. Oh, thanks. Good. It's actually, and I would recommend doing it in, like, instead of being, for me, I was like, okay, I don't want to be resentful about this. I don't want to be angry about this. I want this to be something that I can work on and feel good about as I'm working on it. And so that's the thing, is if I can't lie to myself about, you know, denying the fact that I'm not as strong as I want to be, even for myself at times, and to try to mix any sort of chemical with that while I'm trying to literally dissect it and cope with it, it just throws me fucking to another planet. So I can't do that. But thank you so much. And I'm glad that I'm inspiring you. Hero Like Cody became a YouTube member. Thank you, Hero Like Cody. And thank you always for everything you're doing. Gina Freya, thank you. You became a YouTube member. Thank you, guys. That's very nice. Alicia G, thank you so much. Alicia. AZ Crimson gifted 1 membership. Thank you, AZ. Beachcomber gifted. Beachcomber, is that how you say Beachcomber? Beachcomber gifted 5 Laura FM memberships. Thank you. Thank you, guys. This is very helpful to my life. Oh my God, Am, thank you. Gifted 20 Lara FM memberships. Thank you. Angel friends, my angel friends. Auntie Am's member for 7 months. Thank you, girly. Oh my God. Whew. Okay, guys. I did all those memberships. Laura, question. That's funny. That's not a quick. Do you know how much my heart bleeds with you? I love you, sweet angel babe. Thank you, Tabby. Thank you so much. I am hoping you get into dancing, like belly dancing and other. I am. I can't. I've always been into dancing, actually, but I'm starting actually with maybe I'll do this with you guys or not. We'll see how it goes and whatever. But I'm gonna be just doing my way of, it's like a yoga, like stretch, breathing, dance sort of healing starter up of the day routine that I used to do a lot, and I want to start doing that and then show people like what I do and how it helps me. Grizz, you were planning on going later? Oh, okay, let me see how I feel in a bit. I actually feel much better talking to you guys about everything. Honestly, this already feels so good. I literally have so much more to talk about and so much more details to come up. I mean, to bring up. And I'm going to do that. We'll get through it. I'm going to do it, bring it up, go as I go, do what I can. Okay. So I guess there's not any more major other questions. If there is a question, ask me now. Otherwise, forever hold your peace. I'm just kidding. Otherwise, hopefully I answered them as we went. Thank you guys so much also for keeping up with my wildness and learning and loving and allowing me the space to heal and to learn and to not be the person that I don't want to be. So I really appreciate you guys so much. Yeah. Breathe. Drink some water. Drink your smoothies. Smoke your weed, drink your alcohol, do whatever, but make sure you're being you, doing you, and handling, fixing, resolving, healing, whatever words we want to use to be better and enjoy ourselves better, actually. Okay. So for now, that's it. Love to you all. I'm going to have a bunch more streams coming up over the next few days. Stay tuned. Thank you, Hot Mama. Sending you lots of love and big hugs. Thank you. Did Martin Hobbs? See. Martin, basically there was a goat that had previously, like, I just remembered like 2 or 3 years before that basically was attacked by a coyote and was still alive. And I just remember that they got the security shotgun and killed it, but yeah, shot it. And so I thought, I didn't understand. I was like, how did Lucy die? What do you mean she's dead? What the fuck? She has 2 babies. Like, what do you mean? Just like, yeah. So yeah, that's why I thought, oh my God, maybe did he shoot them? What the fuck? Yeah, there's a lot. Sadly, almost every animal that I loved at the Int Ranch as in my young child years, there's a lot of trauma and pain, like painful memories because of how much I loved them and connected with them. It feels like I also had stronger painful memories because I didn't really get to share those with other humans. I only got to share them with animals. In my mind, I guess that's how I felt. Thank you, Anne. Breathe, rest, and heal so you can go forward, dear love. Thank you guys so much. I love you all. Thank you for letting me learn. And thank you for being patient. And I'm going to be doing better. I am doing better. And I can't wait to keep doing better with all of y'all. Okay. Love to you all. Sorry if I missed any last little things. Tabby, thank you. Bridget, thank you. I hope you feel much better. Oh, thank you. I love you guys all. Loves, loves, loves. See you guys very soon. See you very, very soon because I'll probably be talking about this tomorrow even. And if not, maybe I'll be live tonight in a little bit doing some protesting. Okay? Love to you all. Got through that one, guys. See you soon.